totally rise above the rest of the players level-wise. He's got to stand out at this level if he's going to be a good Division I player.
Yeah, one thing you learn as players move on in their hockey career, in order to get to the top, you have to have dominated all the way up.
Yep.
You're going to find out that as you go on from one level to the next, the levels keep getting cut down, how many players can make it. So when you look at it, usually it's always the guys that have dominated at one level to the next that turn out to be your stars. Kraft has dominated all through minor hockey and all through high school now, and hopefully for the Gophers' sake, he's going to dominate in college.
What's your guess? How much ice time will he get as a freshman next year?
Well, not as much as he's going to get in the next 2 nights. I think that if Moorhead's going to win this championship and they got a shot at it, he's going to have to see a lot of ice, and you don't get freshmen as much ice as your captain and your leading player is going to get. And Moorhead, looking to win their first title, has to depend on Kraft. And Moorhead has got a fella here that I think is going to be an excellent hockey player for the university, but definitely the player that could lead him to the state tournament.
Jim Gilliland standing by at ice level, and Gilly, we'll go back to you now.
Thanks, Frank and Lou. Good analysis of Ryan Kraft, the Moorhead Spuds, and their furious rally. And most people favored to get through to the semifinals. I'm Jim Gilliland. Join us. South St. Paul is here. Moorhead is here. Bloomington Jefferson is here, as is Duluth East. And as we said, most people thought that these would be the two teams that would get this far. Now we have to see which two are going to advance to our championship game tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Earlier today, Warroad and Hibbing won the right to meet for the Class A championship at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And there are just 2 left to be decided that will be playing in that game tomorrow night. Now let's go upstairs and meet our announcers for tonight's session of hockey, Wally Shaver and Lou Nandy. Fellas?
Well, Jim, thanks very much, and welcome aboard, everybody. We're certainly anticipating a great hockey clash here tonight. And Louis, when you look at the records of these two teams, they're both quite even. They both possess some very good scoring capabilities, and they have a couple of lines that can do damage.
That's right, Wally. Both of these clubs have had outstanding seasons. 24-2 for Moorhead, 23-3 for South St. Paul, and each of them playing a very difficult schedule. So it's really rewarding for them to come this far because they've played so well all year. Now they're going to meet, and you're going to see a game with, I think, a great amount of speed out there. Good skating clubs, good firepower, as you said. It should be an extremely high-tempo, fast-paced game that we see, and I think that the winner that advances is going to be really a worthy team to go into the finals tomorrow night against the winner of Jefferson and Duluth East, which also should be a great game.
We're going to be pointing out a few of the individual stars to keep your eyes on, but we have a star of our own, and he's downstairs. He had a chance to talk with the coaches. Here's Jeff Grayson.
All right, Wally, thank you very much. Last night you said maybe it was time for a heroic performance from a goalie. We got it last night. Osceola's Matt Jeffers. Tonight, Spuds coach Terry Cullen says they're going to test South St. Paul's goalie Brad Muster. They're going to come at him early with a lot of speed from the outside. On the South St. Paul side, Russ Welch says, hey, it is great to be playing in front of the home crowd. He anticipates a lot of speed. Speed, periods 1 through 3. Should be a great one. Now we go to Andy Skoogman, who is detailed, diplomatic, and debonair. Marvelous.
All right, Jeffrey, thank you very much, sir. And as always, you are way too kind. Well, we're in for what should be the best night yet here at the St. Paul Civic Center, both in terms of the action on the ice and the emotions here in the stands. The place is filling up quickly, and we're expecting a standing room only crowd. I'll be in the stands all night talking to the fans who provide the flavor and the color and help make this tournament the great one that it is. For now, though, let's go back to the man who makes this broadcast the great one that it is, your host, the man at the helm, Jim Gilliland. Gilly?
Oh, Andy, you're too kind. The super session is at hand. We're going to have Bloomington Jefferson and Duluth East later. Coming up next, South St. Paul and Moorhead. State tournament rolled on from the St. Paul Civic Center.
Open the door, check under the hood, because now's the time to get to your Toyota dealer and get to quality. Toyota's March sales event is on, and it features Corolla with big factory-to-dealer incentives, option package savings, and a $179 lease plan that can make Corolla more affordable than ever. Corolla, Toyota's benchmark of quality for 25 years. Now with a great selection and great deals. But hurry, this special sales event ends April 5th.
Mr. Miller?
Yeah.
This is TCN. Mr. Miller, if you could change the way banks do business, what would you change?
I'd make them have a lot more cash machines in more locations for emergencies.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Thank you.
TCF, banking the way you want it.
The Minnesota Pipe Trades and their union mechanical contractors are proud to be part of the 1994 Minnesota State High School hockey tournaments and to be on the job at the Superior Recycled Fiber Plant and local housing projects in Duluth. The Minnesota Pipe Trades are skilled and highly productive craftspeople specializing in all of your residential, commercial, and industrial plumbing, pipe fitting, and sprinkler fitting needs.
We'll be on the job in partnership with our pipe trades to produce quality, timely, competitive work.
Our prosperity is based upon your satisfaction. That's why we do the job right the first time.
These are annual and perennial weeds before Banvel. These are annual and perennial weeds after Banvel. This is spike. These were weeds. This is canopy. Unlike contact herbicides, just one spray of Banvel at spike gives you all the residual control you need. Banvel. It's simple but effective.
The popcorn is popped, the soft drinks are poured, we're ready to play hockey. This great Minnesota tradition should be the best night yet of the tournament with these 4 semifinalists. Now let's meet the teams. Public address announcer Dick Stanford.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Civic Center and the Final Four, the semifinals of the 1994 Minnesota High School Hockey Tournament. Tonight's first semifinal game matches the champions of Section 8AA with a record of 24-2, the Spuds from Moorhead. And the champions of Section 2AA with a record of 23-3, the South St. Paul Packers. Let's begin by meeting the cheerleading squads from the respective schools. First, the Moorhead cheerleaders, Sally Beach, Carly Johnson, Erin Tuck, Rochelle Jestang, Stephanie Peshon, and Alicia Lund. And now let's meet the Packer cheerleaders, Angela Kermis, Angela Franco, Molly Middlecamp, Emily Mitchell, Nikki Burns,
Hi, Dad.
Kristen Nelson,
Hi, Dad.
and mascot Heidi Kresling. And now here are your starting lineups for tonight's first semifinal game. For Moorhead, in goal, number 33, Jeremy Gregoire. At defense, number 13, Joel Jameson. And number 16, Rory Corden. Starting at center for the Spuds, number 5, Josh Arnold. His wings, number 15, John Haberlock. And number 19, Ryan Kraft. Head coach of the Spuds is Terry Cullen. And now the starting lineup for South St. Paul. In goal, number 29, Brad Musta. At defense, number 5, Ryan McAlpine. And number 15, Jason Bolte. At center for the Packers, number 23, Jason Siles. And his wings are number 8, Clint Nadu. And number 12, Ryan Herda. Packers head coach is Russ Welch. Your officials for the semifinal game, the referee is Mike Riley and Bill Mason. The linesman is Michael Gager. And now, ladies and gentlemen, before we face off, a word from the players from each of the teams. Speaking on behalf of the Spuds is Ryan Kraft, and on behalf of the Packers, Ryan McAlpine.
Good evening. Welcome to the Minnesota State High School League State Hockey Tournament. We appreciate your attendance at this tournament and hope you enjoy it.
The State Hockey Tournament is being played under rules of the Minnesota State High School League. These rules provide for fair play, good sportsmanship among players and coaches. As athletes, we ask that spectators promote the ideals of good sportsmanship, fair play, and respect for our opponents and the calls of the officials.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please rise and honor America as the Moorhead High School Band, under direction of Student Director Stacy Gripe, leads us in the Star-Spangled Banner.
Well, Louis, as these players are being introduced, you could almost sense that the nervous jitters that preceded this tournament have more or less evaporated, and now they're very intense, and they just want to get going and play some puck.
Well, the anxiety changes, Wally, the first time that you get into the tournament or the first game of the tournament. All you want to do is you want to win that first game, and then you start thinking, we got to get on, we got to get through this first game, and you're really nervous playing in front of this size of crowd. These players haven't played in front of these many people all year long, and all of a sudden you got 15,000. Once you win the first game, now all the focus goes right to the finals. You start thinking finals, state tournament, and the anxiety that you had about playing in front of the people really passes, and now it's more, can we do it? Can we beat that other team? And each of these clubs, you know, as we said earlier, have played tough schedules, have played against good opponents all year long, and really are quality hockey clubs. And I think both the goaltenders tonight are going to get some good opportunities to show their stuff. Gregoire yesterday didn't have as much of an opportunity because Moorhead was so dominant, and South St. Paul had a little easier time. But I think they're both going to get tested, so it should be interesting.
You're taking a look at the Packers. It's Brad Mussa in goal. Comes in with a 2.53 goals against average. He's a perfect 12-0 on the year, and gets face-to-face with Captain Jason Siles. And there's a look at a man who just stole the show in the third period yesterday against White Bear Lake. They were down 3-2 in that game, folks. Won at 7-3. And Brian Kraft came through in that one with 4 goals and 1 assist in the contest. Keep your eyes on black, number 19.
Number 23 out there for South St. Paul, Jason Siles, had 40 goals himself last year, and he's going to be a threat that Moorhead's going to have to worry about all night long. And on his wing, he's got a sophomore, Herta, that's had an outstanding season for a sophomore, at 21 goals.
Michael Gagger, the linesman, drops the puck, and it's shot in by Jason Botank. He picks up the puck himself, centers, Siles shoots it, hits leg of a defenseman en route, and this is John Haverlock relaying it back out to neutral. It carries all the way down the ice, and will be an icing call against Moorhead. The Spuds coming in here for their third state tournament appearance, their third straight state tournament appearance. Meanwhile, South St. Paul has been here 26 times, tying a record set by Roseau. But The elusive overall title has eluded them over those 26 appearances, and the best they've done is second place on 2 occasions.
After a while, you get tired of just coming. You want to win the thing, and it doesn't matter whether you had played in the previous teams. It's part of the tradition, and Sault Ste. Paul definitely wants to get a championship in the state tournament. They've been here, as you said, many times, and so are certainly overdue for one.
Action down in the Moorhead zone. They're in the dark jerseys. Sault Ste. Paul in the light. And here comes Moorhead out of the zone. This is Ryan Fresh, a junior winger, getting it up across the line. But apparently it hit a skate en route, and as the Spuds bring it in, it is offside, trapping several teammates offside. And quick changes right off the bat here, Louis. We're seeing the third units out there now for each team. We're only 45 seconds deep into the game.
Good move by the coaches. They want to get everybody a feel for the game, for the ice. You know, you've been in the locker room for a while. You come out, you have the introductions. It takes a while, so you want to make certain everybody's got their legs under them. And this is the best way to do it. Give them some opportunity to get on the ice quickly. By the way, we may have a little difficulty from this side picking up some of those Sault Ste. Paul numbers. They're nice jerseys, but white on white, pretty difficult to read. And so we got to basically look for styles, how they skate, or how they've got their jersey tucked in to pick them up. It's a lot easier than looking at the numbers. We will be given the go for a score ongoing. It's 1-1 right now over in their UQ.
They're in a best-of-3 playoff series with Denver Pioneers. At the Moorhead blue line. Puck is back in the neutral zone. Racing hard after it now is David Fear. Fear trying to get around the last defenseman for Sault Ste. Paul, but he can't. Now it comes loose. Here's a shot that just goes wide by Redfield. The scramble out in front, clear to the corner. This is Bernstrom taking a shot wide on the other point now. Here's a shot by Grammer. Knocked down in front, picked up by Sault Ste. Paul. They still can't do it as it's Fear moving it back towards the points for Grammer. He lost the puck, and Sault Ste. Paul can take just a whistle it down ice off the stick of Louis Sylvester, and it will be icing against the Packers. No score on this one. We have a slight break, and we'll be right back here to the 1994 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
You're watching the 1994 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournaments, brought to you in part by Boyer Ford, the Minnesota Pipe Trade Association, and by your local Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Explosiveness by Moorhead early gets them a couple quality chances. One thing to look for tonight for both clubs. Look to see if they use their speed on the outside or on the defenseman. They've got fast skating wings on each of these teams, and a key for them will be able to beat the defense around the outside if they're coming full flight. So the defense have to be aware and time those rushes perfectly, or they'll be giving up quality chances.
Jason Stiles moving the puck up to Clint Nader. Knocked away from him by the veteran defense, Joel Jamison on Moorhead. Spinning the puck up around the boards to the right side for Ryan Kraft. Too far for him, and a shot back down low by Ken Madden. Jamison getting it again. Goes to the other side this time. Sault Ste. Paul putting on some good forechecking, but here come the Spuds. Geez, I love that nickname. So original. And Madden. Long pass across ice. Deflects right in front of the Spuds bench. Now it's taken off the wall there by defenseman Rory Curtin. Locked away from him, and Sault Ste. Paul gets a change on the go as the Spuds regroup in their own zone. Long pass to center, carries a length to the rink. We have icing called against Moorhead.
Moorhead tried to catch Sault Ste. Paul in the line change. Kraft very smartly stood all the way down the ice because you can pass the puck from behind your own goal right to the far blue line. Unfortunately for the Spuds, that pass didn't connect. It was a little errant, went down for icing, but you've got to watch your line changes. Make certain when you change your lines, the puck's going ahead in the offensive zone so that you don't have any short-handed situation where you might get caught and give the other team a breakaway.
A lot of icings. And another one here. We do have a pause. You take a look at our Manville scoreboard, which shows 0 at this point. We'll be back for more first period action in the semifinals of the Class AA tournament.
Human hate criminals terrorize the aliens.
There will be bloody retribution.
On the next Babylon 5.
Sunday night at 8 on Minnesota 9.
Sault Ste. Paul wants to get an opportunity, and the best way to do that here is win the draw and get it back cleanly. They'll have a good shot on net.
You almost think the nerves are somewhat there, because we've seen a lot of icing calls in early going to this game. Passing just not sharp yet. This is Pete Cullen. 11 for Moorhead, getting up along the boards. Not brought out. Here's a backhand shot going wide of the goal. After it into the corner now is number 19, Brian Hort, putting out in front, and popping on it there is Jeremy Gregoire.
Great chance for Schultz right on the doorstep. That puck got turned over just 3 feet in front of Gregoire, and he had to be sharp. You see the attempt from behind the net right there, and look at the shot right in goal right there, because Herta had knocked that puck loose right in front of the net to Schultz, and he tried to bang it home. Gregoire with a good stop.
Horst again working behind the goal. He has done well in that position here in this tournament. Puts it on in front, but it's picked off in the front of the goal by Matt Cullen. He gets it up now for Troy Bagney. Bagney dropping it off. Cullen picking it off, trying to send it back down low to Bagney, but it's intercepted and relayed out to center. Horst back to his defense. Ryan McAlpine. Long rink-wide pass taken off the wall by Bob Herta. His pass hit the linesman. They go up the weak side now and lift the puck with Ryan McAlpine. He's checked hard. Gets the puck back again. Here's a 2-on-1. McAlpine takes a long shot wide. And it carries all the way back to neutral ice. And as it shot in, there was a couple of St. Paul Packers in there offside.
McAlpine shook off a check by Redfield, a heavy check. As Redfield was checking him, the Spuds thought that he was going to be knocked down, the puck taken away. They went for a line change. McAlpine regained his balance, came down. He didn't see on the far side Barron coming on the right side. He'd have been able to walk right in. McAlpine took a good shot, however, he didn't put it on the net, and that came all the way out.
Again, we'd like to welcome all our viewers up north. Glad to have you aboard with us. KVLH, the main feed up in the Duluth area, covering the range. I like that range hockey. Duluth Superior area and also the Arrowhead. Welcome aboard, folks. We hope you're enjoying this tournament. I'd like to pass on a couple of scores from earlier today, too. In Class AA, White Bear Lake defeating Rochester Mayo 4-1. And Osseo in overtime dumped Minnetonka 4-3, so it'll be Osseo and White Bear Lake in the consolation final tomorrow at Mariucci Arena. Here come the Spuds to center. David Fear across the line, number 22. Fear trying to go to the forehand, crashes into the goal. The puck rolls a shot just over top the goal by Jason Redfield and in to the audience.
Oh, what an outstanding chance, and I think that was Hudson on defense, who just got his stick on that. The net was wide open. The goalie got taken out. Watch the gaping hole right there. A good attempt by Fear, breaking down, trying to go around the defense right here. You see him going around the outside. Now watch as the goalie gets knocked over. That whole net's wide open. You can't see the shooter because you just see him get knocked down there because he had a wide open net. Boy, what an attempt. Good defensive play by the South St. Paul defense.
Back it comes to the point. Cullen's shot goes wide. Picked off by the Packers. And relayed out to center ice. Tipping it into the zone. Number 9, Bob Herta. His brother Ryan. Younger brother playing on the top line for South St. Paul. Matt Cullen bringing it back. He is a coach's son. He stopped at the blue line, and the Packers shoot it down. And once again, we have an icing call against South St. Paul. Still no score in this one. And it's a slow start to this semifinal game here from Civic Center.
What's it like to face Curtis Joseph when he's wearing Louisville hockey gear? Louisville hockey. Hockey the way you want to play it. Some poor goalie is going to be taught a lesson about Louisville hockey sticks from Steve Eiserman. Louisville hockey. Hockey the way you want to play it.
KMSP Television has purchased the broadcast rights to the 1994 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament. No broadcast, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and account of this copyrighted telecast is permitted without the written authority of KMSP Television and the Minnesota State High School League. South St. Paul trying to crank it up. They break out, play a press across center. There's a long shot by Horst going wide. Tried to follow up his own rebound, but Gregoire taps it to the corner. And now out in front of the goal, Matt Cullen relays it up the left side for Troy Bagney. Here's Bagney, the sophomore, across the line. He's tripped up on the play by Boltank. Behind the net, Cullen carrying on. Has Fritz open out in front. Can't get him the puck. Now Kraft comes down low. Ryan Kraft, number 19, trying to pry it loose. Gets it over to Bagney. He parks it right back into the traffic jam. Kraft comes out of the pile with it. Kraft has open points, but he elects to hold it into the corner. Puts it on goal from the side, and it's an easy stop there for Brad Musta.
If Kraft didn't do one thing yesterday, he's doing the same thing today. That's using the points. He comes out of the corner. He could have given it back to the point, and you got to use those points a little bit more to get yourself and your line mates free. See right there, he could have given it back for a shot instead of skating that 15 feet. Let the puck do the work. If he'd have been quick, got that back to the point, they might have had a good opportunity. That's the one thing. He played a superb game yesterday, but the thing he wasn't doing was using his points.
The Pack is back into the semifinals this year. And looking for more. Here they come. Ryan Hurta with a shot. He scores! Hurta taking the puck off some traffic on the left boards and uncorking a shot from the faceoff dot to give South St. Paul the lead.
Actually, that goal was a deflected shot off a spud. Watch Hurta when he's coming from the left side, picks up that puck. He takes a shot. It's going to change direction. It was either Kraft or Corton, who was just going to check him. Made a good play trying to check him, but the puck carried him wildly. Right here, you're going to see the check being made along the boards by Nadeau, and the puck's coming free. There's a shot right there. You see the deflection? Back by Corton by the net. Change direction, fool the goaltender, and put the Pack up ahead 1-0. Right? You can't see it from that angle. See the goalie look up? That's a little bit of astonishment in his face, but that's what happens when pucks carry him wildly off someone's foot or stick.
Nadeau getting the lone assist, his third goal of the tournament. Here they come again on the attack. Siles busting in hard after the loose puck. Leaves it at the point. Shot serve just wide by Yackel. Now here come the Spuds race. This is John Chumno. Number 5 leaving it off now for Kraft, who missed it. It's still bouncing around and carrying out to Ryan Hurta, who just scored. Hurta has a man with him, but it's pulled checked away from him, and Ryan Kraft is there. Kraft will be going to the University of Minnesota next year. Across the line is slowed down and lost control as he hits the bench now. Both teams teasing. Breakaway pass just off the stick of 21, Louis Sylvester.
And Wally, this is easily the quickest game of the tournament thus far. Both teams with great speed.
Well, they had a slow start, but it's opened up now with Racehorse Hockey at center ice. The puck is taken away by Ryan McAlpine of South St. Paul, and it's helped out to center. From there, it's fired in by Rob Gramer. Shot right back out by the Packer defense, and Gramer goes back to his blue line. Pass for Bergstrom. In there as well, defenseman Pete Cullen, number 11, coming down at 22 feet, and finally with people falling, they land on the puck and hold it for a face-off. It's 1-0, Packers lead. This is High School 94, live from downtown St. Paul.
Start your do-it-yourself projects with savings from Menards. Put air power to work with Campbell Housefeld air compressors and tools. Compressors start as low as $167. Air tools start at $9.98. When replacing doorknobs, remember Harlock. It's the best lock for your money. This passage lock is $4.99. A lever passage lock is $9.99. Make Menards your home for do-it-yourself savings.
Save big money at Menards.
You're looking at the coach, Russ Welch, who's got to feel pretty good about the way his team's played thus far. One thing that you're noticing, South St. Paul, because of its quickness, is able to react and get back and check much closer than Moorhead's been used to. Moorhead seems like they got speed, they're going ahead, but St. Paul also has quickness, and when South St. Paul reacts from offense to defense, they're quick in getting back, and really that's what's made their game somewhat sloppy because the checking's been pretty good.
Yeah. And we'll see that transition keep cranking it. Now here comes First on the attack. First right on goal. Fine save. The puck is loose and it's taken away there by the Packers horse. Off into the corner now for number 6, Schultz, who tries to go up the boards with it, but lost the puck. Picked off down by Matt Cullen across to the other side. And fanning with Bagney on it. Back towards the point it comes. Corton keeping it alive and runs into a stiff jolt there. Several players scrumming along the boards. Back it comes to Corton. Winds and fires right on. The puck is still loose. Cullen chasing it down to the far side. The centering pass goes into the defense. Bagney gets it. Now Cullen out in front, but it's taken away there. And here come the Packers. Chokes to center. Knocked down. Firing it right back in is Joel Jamieson, but it was an offside against Moorhead.
Moorhead showing some good puck movement there, and especially a good move by Frisch as he broke in through the defenseman, and it had to be stopped by Musta. Musta made a real nice stop, and after that Moorhead had 2 or 3 more chances for a good passing play. Didn't connect with the pass, but there's that good move by Frisch. Real big save by Musta, keeping South St. Paul up 1-0. Then you see Frisch coming back with that check behind the net.
Jason Siles has a pass go through the skates of Clint Nadeau. And the baseball player couldn't quite reach back for it, so it's icing called against South St. Paul, and back we come into their end.
Quite a youngster there, the sophomore in the first line. Ryan Hurt, his brother's playing on the second line. And we said earlier he's got 21 goals coming into this game, and now he's got his 22nd. So for a sophomore playing on the first line and producing like that, bodes very well for South St. Paul in the future to keep returning to this tournament.
No question about it. This is Louis Sylvester, number 21, you see, taking the face-off for the Packers. Pulls it back in behind his goal. Eric Yackel after it. His dad is Chick Yackel. Lost the puck. Here trying to cut out, but he was tripped up. No penalty is called. And here comes Louis Sylvester to center ice. Across the line, but just stepping ahead of him was number 17, Troy Barron, and it's, or make that Hawking number 7, and it's offside against the Pack.
Good move, you see, by Coach Terry Cullen. As soon as the face-off was taking place, he had Ryan Kraft jump on the ice. He had a quick line change, trying to get Kraft out against the third line. He wanted Arnold, Kraft, and Haberlock, and you saw Moorhead get control of the puck, keep it ahead, and the 2 forwards race to the bench to get Kraft and Arnold on, and fortunately for South St. Paul, they were able to bring the puck out of the zone, get a whistle, and now they get their top line against Spud's top line.
Puck goes back in behind the Moorhead goal. Ryan Herta trying to put it out in front, it's taken away, and here come the Spuds to center, but it goes off a weak spot in the boards. And it's a sloppy play at center, finally driven off the boards into the zone by Pete Cullen, the defenseman. In back of his goal, Todd Rohr. Clears but not out. Cullen holding it in and still bouncing at the blue line. Packers break up and come across the line, but Siles is a little bit early, and it's offside to South St. Paul. Still 1-0. Packers leading. This is High School Hockey 94 live from the Civic Center.
Mr. Nelson? This is TCF. Mr. Nelson, if you could change the way banks do business, what would you change?
I'd keep them open later on Saturdays.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson.
TCF is now open till 3 p.m. on Saturdays at most locations.
TCF, banking the way you want it.
South St. Paul playing a very good, solid game thus far. However, Moorhead, if you notice one difference in the game from yesterday's play to tonight, it's been their passing. Their passing is not very sharp or accurate thus far.
At their own blue line, Moorhead. Out control, Rory Corton. Throws it out to center ice. Horst is knocked down. Pucker's pried out of there by Matt Cullen. Feeds it across to the other side. A lot of scrambling play. Boy, both these teams defend well. But here's Brian Horst coming in one-on-one. His shot. Knocked down by the goaltender, Gregoire. Horst getting it a game behind the goal. Looking for an open man. Horst tied up and knocked down. Defenseman Jamieson, 13, has it. His pass is blocked as Boltane pitching in way low from his defense post. Keeps it alive. Moorhead goes to the other side this time, but it's stolen there by Herta. His pass blocked. Back from the Bagney for Moorhead. Bagney now to Matt Cullen. Here's Cullen. Cutting out in front. And a fine save at the door mouth by Musta. And he was kind of unsure where that puck may have ended up.
Good move by Cullen as he breaks to the net. Watch Redfield, number 12, break into the net as well. The defenders go to Redfield, and that leaves just an opening for Cullen right here to cut to the front and try and make the backhander. And there you see Redfield taken down right in front. So as the defenders did their job by closing off any passing lane, the goaltender was left alone. He was smart enough to hug the pipe, not giving Cullen anything to shoot at coming on the short side.
With the lead, Packers come out of the zone. Reynolds across the line, but again an offside. And going back to that point we're talking about with the defensive play, it's really quite sharp at both of these teams.
Yeah, both of these clubs react well to their defense. As soon as they lose the puck, they get back, they pick up men. They're both quick. They both can react even on short turnovers. They stop and they get right back on their man, and that closes up passing lanes, and it also makes it easier for the defenseman to stand up and meet the play because they've got somebody coming back, and consequently you don't see people just skating into the zone easily or untouched. They're getting challenged, and that's making it difficult for any smooth transition from defense to offense for each club.
Well, I talked with both coaches before the game about that and asked me, hey, are you going to dump it in or carry it in? Both of these teams would prefer carrying it in, but with this kind of defense, we may see some dumping.
I think you will, especially if you don't start passing the puck better. Both of the clubs could do that. That's the weakest part of the game thus far is the passing by each club.
And again, that blue line looking like a wall at both ends of the building. Run in the neutral ice area, finally dumped in, but this is due to a player change in the Packers, and they put a new unit of 5 players out there and back on the spud.
Look at two errant passes, one by each club right there, and people wide open.
Behind his net is Haberlack, number 15. John Haberlack, a senior winger for Moorhead, carrying it out to center. Stiles has it with one hand, gets it over to McAlpine, hits pass, stolen at center by Grammer. He shoots it in. A couple of players tag up, but they're offside. Now they do, and everything is okay. Herda off the boards, but not out. Stiles breaks up the play. Here he comes with a 2-on-1. Stiles takes the pass, but again, Jason Stiles is in just a stride ahead of the play. It has to be puck first, player second. Stiles, don't even argue, pal. If you saw the replay, you know.
You're right, Wally. There's no question about that. He was offside by more than a foot. He thinks that the puck's coming, but actually, if you look at the puck, it wasn't a fast pass. It was coming so slow if you stopped that he was a foot offside. It's unfortunate because they had a good 2-on-1 break. Now watch right here. You see the pass, and look where he is. He's already in the zone. Foot I was underestimating. He was about 4 feet offside.
Okay, still 1-0. Ryan Herda has the game's only goal for South St. Paul. Everybody expecting a Jefferson-Moorhead final, but there's 2 more teams here tonight that are going to have a question about it.
He does it again. Terry Cullen making a quick line change to get that first line out against the third line if he can.
Here comes Matt Cullen across the line, but now Moorhead is offside as number 9, Herda, South St. Paul, gave a little push to his man, making the play offside.
Good play by Herda. He saw that the play was developing on the far side. He was checking that man, Cullen, number 7. So what he did is just took him across the line, rode him over before the puck carrier, and that caused the offside. That's a good defensive play. As we said, these clubs are reacting well to their defensive assignments, picking up their men and going with them. And that time, Bob Herda showed it perfectly, how you check a man and make certain that you've got him covered all the way.
3:02 left in the period. The Packers have taken only 3 shots on goal. Their last one came at the 5:40 mark of the period when they scored. So they have gone 10 minutes, over 10 minutes, almost 15 minutes without a shot. With the blue line, McAlpine driving it down low on the backhand side. Split Nadu trying to put it out in front, but he falls in the corner. Moorhead takes over. Pratt bumps to the ice, bumps it back up, left upside, check, but carrying on his foot. Heating to the far side. He reaches the zone, backhands it behind the net. McAlpine takes it there, tapping it up for Ryan Herda. Bounces on in front of the net, cleared away, and Ryan Herda roars out of the zone for the Packers. Herda shooting it in as he heads off to the ice on a line change, and this will allow Pete Cullen to come up ice for Moorhead. Nice tip pass ahead for Cullen. Trying to cross into the zone, but he lost the puck, and here come the Packers, roaring back. There's an open man ahead. Schultz getting it up to Horst. He has to chase it down. Horst, checked by Grammer. reaching back for it for the pack. Horse knocked down. Lands on the puck. That will draw a whistle, and the face-off will come outside the Moorhead zone.
Well, you see Schultz fixing his chin strap, but he and Horst almost connected on a perfect play. Just missed by half a stride. We have to see if any of these teams here connect 3 passes in a row. I want to see one team because really, Wally, when you look at it, if somebody does, I think they're going to get in the open and get a shot because there's the speed of the game, the way they're breaking, trying to get in hold, it's such close checking. If they can connect 3 passes, that means somebody's going to be wide open at the end, and I think you might see a good opportunity here.
Well, another thing we're seeing is a lot of long ice passes, but the best breakouts have been short, quick ones, 5 feet apart.
If they make the pass, here's the one miss right there.
In behind the net, Horst has the puck, has a man hurling in front, but the pass isn't there. Instead, the Spuds are, and here's Bagney coming back, carrying it up ice, his long-range shot goes off the glass, and the goalie stick. Bagney is there for the puck, however, behind the net. He's checked, heard it clear, but not out. Cullen shot from the point, stick wide. Now Matt Cullen, getting it back to his cousin Pete. Tipping it over to Rob Kramer, who shoots it into the corner as we enter the final minute of the first period. Bob Herta giving it to his goalie, and Musta says enough of this. Let's hold on and get a change.
Well, Moorhead knowing now, just try and get some shots on net, try and get some rebounds. Even in that instance, a good play by Kraft. He's against the board, going to be checked. He just fired away from the left side, put it right on the net. Must have made a good stop and saved it for a whistle to his right. But here's Kraft, number 19. He's going to be going to the boards as he picks up the puck. Rather than getting checked right now, he just turns and fires at the net, puts it on the net, hoping that Arnold coming out of the corner might get a rebound, but must have held on to it.
This is Josh Arnold, 5, getting it back to the point, winding and fires from there, shot right out. There's a scramble out in front. Brad Musta down on his knees to cover up. And he's got some towering foreheads above him, doing a little pushing and shoving.
Good play there by Musta again, because Jameson's shot from the point was low and on the target, and he had to give a rebound. You can't glove it. And coming out of the corner is Arnold. Here's the good low shot, and Arnold pounces on the rebound, gets another second shot right here. See that? Musta going right down, making the save and holding on to it. Real good reactions by goaltender Musta on the rebound of Jameson's fine shot from the point.
Arnold and Jason Siles takes the draw. Siles wins it, pulling it back behind his net. Boateng to Ryan Herta. Herta, short pass to Siles. Trying to get it back, but it glances off his skate. That's Moorhead taking control. Here's Jameson. Entering the zone, number 13, back in the point. A long shot there by Grammer. Blocked. The puck is loose, but it's a hand pass being called.
Yeah, you know, Kraft might complain a little bit. That was very close. McAlpine was reaching for it at the same time. That it was hit down by the hand, but if McAlpine's stick touches that puck, which came very close to doing that, that shot would have been okay by Kraft. Obviously, the linesman right there saw Kraft's blade hit it just before McAlpine, because both sticks came together, and that would have been a very dangerous position there for South St. Paul. The rebound just floating right out in front, and the defenseman up front about 15 feet away from the net.
A few seconds remaining in the period. Siles just dumps it in, and that's going to run it down. As the first 15 minutes of our first semifinal of Class AA comes to a close. Not the most spectacular period of hockey we've seen here in the tournament so far, but it has been one that is successful, at least in the eyes of the Packers, up on the scoreboard.
Well, probably the quickest period, however, Wally, and maybe the best checking, the closest checking. Unfortunately for both clubs, the one part of their game that was missing was passing, and it was missing on both teams, so there was no flow to the offense at all, but very quick and close checking makes for a 1-0 game. South St. Paul ahead going into the second period.
Louisville Sticks tells you the story. We'll be back for a full-blown intermission in just a moment.
You know, this new Mercury Sable's been designed with a great number of standard features. It was also designed with this great number.
Now lease Mercury Sable GS for just $269 a month for 24 months and enjoy features like power driver's seat, speed control, power windows and locks, dual airbag protection, and available anti-lock brakes. All just $269 a month.
Looks to me like the numbers are definitely in your favor. Mercury Sable. See your Lincoln Mercury dealer now for the best numbers around.
If you have children involved in sports, there's only one eyeglass lens they should be wearing. The Gentex polycarbonate lens. Look what happens to a standard plastic lens when struck by a projectile. Compare this to the Gentex polycarbonate lens. Notice the projectile simply bounced off the polycarbonate lens without breaking it. Be safe and choose polycarbonate lenses for your all-star player. Vision World, Minnesota's locally owned optical company.
To be a champion gymnast, you know it has to be in perfect shape? It's not your hands, your arms, or even your legs. It's your lungs.
From tournaments past, here's another great clip from Great Clips for Hair.
Last year, Faribault's senior wing, number 8, Scott Cowan, made this great play pay off big for his team. On this breakaway pass from teammate Danny Pumper, this beautiful power play goal was Scott's first shorthanded goal of the '93 Tier 2 semifinal, and it brought the Faribault Falcons to a tie-breaking game against Henry Sibley.
This great clip has been brought to you by Great Clips for Hair.
And now, a Minnesota 9 News update.
Hello, I'm Robin Robinson. A big breakthrough tonight in the Middle East. A Russian official says Israel and the PLO will resume peace talks. The talks broke down after a Jewish man killed 29 Muslims in a mosque last month. In South Minneapolis, a drive-by shooting sends one person to the hospital. It happened in front of a convenience store at 19th and Chicago Avenue South. Police are investigating.
Target Center! Save the Target Center! Save the Target Center!
Restaurant workers rally at the Target Center. Their message, the Target Center and the Timberwolves mean a lot of money to downtown business, and the city can't afford to lose either one. We know many of you tonight are watching Channel 9 for the first time, so we want to take a minute to show you why you'll keep tuning in for Minnesota 9 News.
If you've seen Minnesota 9 News lately, you've seen the most complete coverage of the events that touch our lives. You've seen local and national news with depth and insight that other newscasts don't have time for.
9 Lives followed Fred Armwell. He draws his art from his Native American spiritual heritage.
People that make the Twin Cities unique. Different news features.
Minnesota 9 Newsroom has a new approach.
How many newscasts are interactive?
Well, our 9 Line question tonight, what's on your mind? Just give us a call and tell us what's going on.
Our 9 Line actually provides same-night viewer feedback at the end of each newscast.
Tonight's 9 Line question, what's on your mind? Here's some of what you have to say.
Pressing issues.
I'm really concerned. It seems like this year crime seems to be rising. We need to do something.
Key conflicts.
Well, I think the news has a lot of negative issues on it, and I think you should work more on the positive stuff.
Minnesota speaks its mind on the 9 Line.
I think this 9 Line is great. It's really nice to hear what other people have to say about the issues going on today.
From first impressions to the last word, only one station brings you what's on Minnesota's mind, night after night, issue after issue. And the call is free. The 9 Line. Growing, meeting the changing needs of viewers in the Twin Cities. Award-winning stories. All from the #1 independent television station in the country. KMSP TV's Minnesota 9 News.
That's the news for now. We'll have more after the next period. I'm Robin Robinson.
If you want a Consumer's Digest Best Buy, like Tercel, then get to your Toyota dealer and get to quality during Toyota's March sales event. If you appreciate value, then save on Tercel's Extra Value Option Package. And for a limited time, a low $149 lease deal makes Tercel even more affordable. If you're looking for quality that's hot, wild, and practical, get into Paseo. But you better hurry. This sales event won't last forever.
Create a warm, beautiful hearth with a Heat and Glow fireplace.
Heat & Glow's direct vent gas fireplaces do not require a chimney. The airtight firebox exchanges outside combustion air and exhaust gases through a balanced flue system. These patented fireplaces are clean burning and energy efficient. For your existing fireplace, Heat & Glow offers gas logs and efficient gas or wood burning inserts. Heat & Glow, the smart choice. Available at...
If it's true the source of America's treasure is its land, the source of its character, its lifeblood, is the people who work it. For through all the change agriculture has seen, the pride, the values, and the work ethic of the farmer have remained true. At Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to serve our nation's farm families and are dedicated to preserving their way of life, not just for today, but for the generations to come.
These are annual and perennial weeds before Banvel. These are annual and perennial weeds after Banvel. This is Spike. These were weeds. This is Canopy. Unlike contact herbicides, just one spray of Banvel at Spike gives you all the residual control you need. Banvel. It's simple, but effective.
We have played one period in this Class AA semifinal. South St. Paul leads Moorhead 1-0. We're in the first intermission. Welcome back to the St. Paul Civic Center, everybody. I'm Jeff Grayson. You know, this is the 5th straight year that Toyota and your local Toyota dealer have sponsored the Toyota School Spirit Competition. Tomorrow night during the Class AA championship game, we will draw the winner. That school will win the use of a 1994 Previa van for a year. Again, this year entries have been collected from schools around the state. One of the 12 finalists is John F. Kennedy High School in Bloomington, Minnesota. 1,635 students. The principal there is Robert Schmidt. We'll know tomorrow who gets the Previa van for 1 year. As for this game tonight, I talked with Packers coach Russ Welch after the first period. He likes the pace of the game, thinks his team is playing well, wants them to keep their composure. Don't be concerned with anything else, like the taunting back and forth. Keep your composure, and he's very happy with the play of his goalie, Brad Musta. We talked before the game. Terry Cullen says his team is going to go after Musta. So far, his coach is happy with the way Musta's playing. Let's send back up now to Wally and Lou. Guys?
Well, I don't know if we're going to get another 1-0 game to stand the test of time here, Louie, but that being the case, where we are right now, low shooting, you'd almost expect the reverse out of these two teams, because between them they averaged 14 goals a game this year.
That's right, Wally. However, they weren't playing the same quality of checking that they're seeing tonight. Each club, and that's why Welch is happy with his team, each club has really been pretty diligent about checking and also reacting to losing the puck. Turnovers, they're getting back into play, they're picking up their men, and you see a lot of congestion. You really don't see a lot of people floating in the holes, and it's tough for them to even get in the open spaces. You know, good teams find open space, but good checking teams stop you from finding that open space, and that's what each of the clubs are doing.
Well, there was only one goal scored in that first period. It came relatively early, and Louie, take us through it.
Well, you see Nadu putting a nice check on the Spud player here and getting the puck free. Ryan Herta picks up the puck. He's trying to shoot it across. It actually is going to deflect right off the defenseman. You see it here. You could stop it. That's going to hit the stick right there, and it's going to cut back towards the net. You see the change of direction. Now it's going back. That's why the goalie was already moving to his left. And watch the look on the goalie's face right there. Nothing the defenseman could do. Sometimes pucks just hit you and they go in the net. You don't want to put them in the net. I put a lot in my own net. I know that. They hit you and they go in. There's nothing you can do. And South St. Paul was the benefactor, and specifically Herta getting his 22nd goal of the year.
Let's take a look at the shots on goal. Not a lot of shots either. Again, emphasizing the good, sound defensive play that we're seeing out of both of these clubs. The Packers with only 3 shots on goal. In fact, those shots came in the first 5:40 of the period, because that's when the goal was scored. Since then, Moorhead has shut them down, but again, they don't have a lot of shots either. So I expect to see that same type of good defensive strategy into the second period. But how can these teams open up that pace a little bit more and maybe break through the neutral zone with some more success?
Well, the best way is to pass the puck better. Both of them did not pass the puck very well. If they'd have made a few passes, then all of a sudden that's going to attract even more attention. People are going to move to them. Then there will be open spaces for other people to slip into, and you get them the puck back and you get some chances.
Well, that has been the weakness so far between these two high-powered clubs. I'm sure that will change. We'll be back for the second period and see if the passing improves right after this break.
It's the biggest truck sale in the heartland, but time is running out. You have 2 days left. It's your chance to drive Chevy's new S-Series Extended Cab, loaded with AM/FM cassette and much more. Not for $350 a month, but only $199 a month for 24 months. Just $199. Don't wait one more day. It all ends March 14th. Hurry to your Heartland Chevy GO dealers.
Dad's picking up dinner. Really, and Pete's or another bucket of chicken. No, he's going for a new Taco Bell Big Bell dinner pack. Our Dad? Tacos and burritos and packs of 6, 10, or 15? With humongous sides of rice, beans, and chips? A complete family meal starting at $5.99? This could change everything. Yeah, Mom will get a raging deal. Dad will have some kicking gear. We'll become a cool family.
Hey, campers, who wants tacos?
Well, at least dinner won't be lame.
Hey, ready? You want to buy something. Here's how to find it. The U.S. West Direct Yellow Pages. Or maybe you're in business. Good. Here's how you sell things. Let's clarify. You're a buyer again and there's something you want. No, really want. Where do you look? Whoa, fast learner. Now, being that this is, in fact, the great U.S. of A., if you want to buy something, bet the farm somebody wants to sell it to you. And how do you find each other? Amazing. Where to buy, where to sell. U.S. West Direct.
Hey, sports fans. Dennis Green here for the winning sales team at Boyer Ford Trucks. Only knowledgeable, friendly, and courteous sales pros make the team at Boyer. They've got competitive prices, great trade-in allowances, and big play-making financing abilities. Did you know that Boyer has the largest inventory of new Ford trucks in the business? And they're backed by the biggest and best trained parts and service operations to keep your truck in the field. Call on Boyer when you're in the market for an affordable truck.
Thunder in Paradise premieres Tuesday, March 22nd on Minnesota 9.
And the young man with the popcorn, perhaps attending his first state high school hockey tournament. His dad, no doubt, was a young boy once at the hockey tournament, and his dad before him. 50 years they've been doing this, the Minnesota State High School hockey tournament. There's the view from our GMC Viking Land cam. High atop the Civic Center. It's been capturing some of the great action for you throughout the tournament. We want to remind you of the scores we've already had today. In the Class A semifinals, we had Warroad winning 3-2 over Matamidi in overtime, and a thrill there, 10-1. Hibbing took the measure of St. Cloud Cathedral in the other semifinal. Consolation this morning in Class AA. These scores you may not have gotten. We had Osseo defeating Minnetonka in overtime, 4-3, and White Bear Lake 4-1 over Rochester Mayo. So you're up to date on the scores. Teams are coming back on the ice, so let's go back upstairs to Wally and Lou.
Jim, thanks very much. And we talked a little bit about the high-powered offense that both these teams possess. South St. Paul has averaged over 6.5 goals a game throughout the year. And they've had some very high-scoring games as well. They are 18-1 since Christmas time. Actually make that 19-1 now. They've had 3 games scoring 10 goals, 5 scoring 9, and 5 more scoring 7 or 8. Moorhead, on the other side of the coin, has been averaging an awful lot of goals, over 7 goals a game themselves throughout the course of the season, almost 8 goals. They actually have set a school record for goal scoring, and this is a team that can light them up. But Louis, as we had talked a little bit before the break, an aspect that has to improve for both of these teams to get those scores up there is the passing game.
That's right, Wally, and some of it, is due to the checking, some due to nervousness, and some just due to plain anxiety. You have to really be feeling confident that you can move the puck and pass the puck and not worry about how you pass it. When you try and telegraph a pass or you try and just lay it there picture perfectly without just the fluidness and freedom of just passing the puck, then you start missing passes. When you're playing well and you pass the puck, you don't even think about how you're going to pass it or where you're going to pass it. You see a man open, boom, you just give him the puck. It's just a reaction. And that's something that I think will come as this game goes on, because both clubs, as you were pointing out, are high scoring. And if you're going to be a high scoring team, that means you've got to complete a lot of good passes. You've got to make plays, and these clubs are capable of that. You would think that even with the checking being as tough as it was in the first period, the passing will improve. As a matter of fact, it couldn't get much worse than they've had for those two teams in the first period. They really did not. I think it was only 1 or 2 times that you saw 2 complete passes made on any rush, and that's not like what we've seen from these clubs yesterday.
Something that we didn't expect. Well, the winner will go on to the state championship game tomorrow night. winner will play the winner of our Jefferson-Duluth East game, which will be coming up immediately following this contest. You'll be able to catch all the action right here on Minnesota 9, and also to our affiliate up in Duluth, KDLH. Welcome aboard, all you Rangers and Duluthians. Glad to have you on board and bringing this great coverage to the Great North. Set to go for period number 2. This is Horst, number 19, against Cullen, number 7, Moorhead. The puck is dropped, and the Packers back up into their own zone. McAlpine. His brother Mike plays at the U of M. His dad also played in 3 state tournaments. Gets the puck off the boards. Horst is checked at center as he tried to roll out. Now Matt Cullen feeds it across the line on the far side to Ryan Frisch. Frisch is hauled down. There's going to be a penalty coming up against McAlpine. It'll be the first one of the contest. And the call is finally made as South St. Paul gains possession.
McAlpine's going to be going off for holding early on in the second period, and that might be something that Moorhead was looking forward to, because they'll have a little more space to pass the puck. You see Frisch going around the outside, McAlpine pulling him down. He heard the whistle, he got up, and he was looking over at the referee, but the penalty was called. South St. Paul will be short-handed, Moorhead in position to tie as McAlpine sits for the first power play.
Moorhead's power play has 40 goals on the year, 52% conversion.
They're very, very effective at it. Yesterday, at least, when we watched it, they moved the puck real well, quickly, and moved it around, and they shot well from the blue line.
Here's a shot, they score! Ryan Kraft from deep in the slot.
You know, Wally, if you look at that shot, it was a shot from the blue line by Pete Cullen, who missed it somewhat, and Kraft shooting off the pass didn't get as much on it as he wanted. The goalie's move was actually quicker than the puck getting there. Watch that puck as it comes back to the blue line right here. The shot across is not really coming hard. Kraft got it away, and he got pretty good wood on it, but not as quite as good as you normally see, but good enough to beat the goalie. But the key was Cullen missing his shot, missing that slap across. It came pretty well so that Kraft could shoot right off the pass. And boy, is he a goal scorer, that kid.
That's his 5th goal of the tournament. And they're on the attack again. And it's tipped out to center ice by Bob Herda. Herda charging in after it. Tipped over a sprawled out player, and the Spuds come back. Up the left side, John Haberlock. Haberlock across the line, going to the other side. One hand, he centers it out in front, but it's stolen by Yackel. They cleared around for Ryan Herda. Ryan Herda trying to reach for him. Spuds take over. We're tied up at 1-1 now. Ryan Herda from center just shoots it towards the line, but it's blocked here by number 3, Brock Grammer. Spurting across the line. Grammer looks to the slot, takes it down low, breaks up along the boards, and lost the puck, and is tapped back out to neutral ice. Shot right back in by Pete Cullen. Now here's a steal from Matt Cullen. Back on the point. Long shot by Pete Cullen from his cousin. Blocked out in front. And here comes Schultz to center. They lost the puck. It's stripped away. 3-man rush. Here's Cullen cutting it on goal. Backhander. And closing the gap was Brad Muster, the goaltender. And the Packers now ice the puck. That'll take the heat off. And it looks like we found a new gear for the Moorhead Spuds. It's tied up at 1-1. We have a break. We'll be back for more second period action from the 1994 State High School Hockey Tournament.
You're watching the 1994 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournaments, brought to you in part by Banville Herbicide, your Vikingland GMC truck dealer, and by Subway.
Moorhead, for the 3rd time this period, goes with speed on the outside. This time it's Cullen going around the outside, cutting to the net for a good try. Musta making the save on him. That's the same play Cullen tried late in the first period. Musta's got him blocked perfectly again. But Moorhead going with speed on the outside, drew the penalty early. Then Grammer missed one on the next try, and this time Cullen missed the goal. But they're using their speed well, going around a defense, and that's what they've got to do. And that's what South St. Paul's got to do when they get the offensive opportunity, going down against the Moorhead defenseman.
Ryan Kraft scored the goal, his 42nd of the year, 5th of the playoffs. Pete Cullen And Josh Arnold, the assist, just 34 seconds into the period and just 6 seconds after they started the power play.
Russ Welch is definitely playing line against line. To start the second period, Cullen came out with his Cullen's line, not his first line, and Welch came right back with horse line. So he wants to play top line against top line. Welch does, and Cullen does not want to.
David Peer just tosses it into the corner. Now you'll see at the top of your screen several changes going on for Moorhead as they're trying to redo those lines. Remember, the white jersey South St. Paul Packers get to make the final line change. So that's why we see Cullen on several occasions leading his troops right onto the faceoff. Here come the Packers down the side. This is Barron going into the corner. Troy Barron, an honor roll student, tries to relay it towards the point. Tapped off the wall by Sylvester. The Spuds get it and clear to center. Josh Arnold backhands it off the boards. Broken up into neutral zone. Lots of catch going on now, and here is Jamieson back across the line. Joel Jamieson with 5 goals on the year as a defenseman, shooting it back behind the net. Ryan McAlpine is checked by 2 Spuds and goes around to the weak side. Circling off the wall, Clint Nadeau bangs it out to center. Kramer lost the puck. Stiles has it momentarily. He gives chase and just swats it down ice. It will be icing as he relayed it from his side of center. As it goes beyond the goal line, it is an icing call, and we'll return here to the St. Paul Civic Center as you take a look at our TCF Bank scoreboard. Tied up. This is the 94 State Hockey Tournament.
The crew find themselves battling the unknown. He's running from something, that's for sure. On the next Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Sunday night at 6 on Minnesota 9.
Fortunately for Moorhead, they're close to the offensive zone this period of South St. Paul, so as soon as the face-off's made, when they want to change lines, they're right in the perfect area to do it. They're in the offensive zone, they're close to their bench, and they can get the line changes that they want, and that's what they've been doing on the last 2 face-offs deep in South St. Paul zone.
Pushed towards the net, but the defense breaks it up, sending it back off to the side. That was Eric Yackel, number 23, doing the job for South St. Paul. Ryan Frisch rolls it back down behind the goal. Yackel goes up the other side this time. Puck is taken by Horst, ducks off a check, comes out to center, headman's a pass now to Schultz. Schultz trying to cut in, but it's swept away from him. Now Yackel pinches in the defenseman, sends it to the corner. Horst working the boards, but it's knocked down. Puck loose behind the goal, and this is Rob Grammer. Getting up the right side now for Ryan Frisch. Frisch, a heavy check along the boards, falls down, but carrying on was Cullen. He tried to relay it to the point, but it splits to B and comes all the way back. Both teams changing. Here's an opportunity. Burnstrom across the line for Moorhead. Blocked up along the wall by Sylvester. Oh, the body checking really rolling out now. Down the left side. Here comes Reynolds for South St. Paul. The 216s going to the corner. And they don't hit hard enough to become a 32. Back on the point. A long shot. Reynolds just missed the rebound. Sylvester in the corner now has it. Number 21 for St. Paul. Plays it back behind. And chasing it there is Rory Corton. Burnstrom, he's checked. Back it comes to Corton. Corton being pestered behind by Troy Barron. Barron now gets loose. Puck goes behind the net. Barron continuing to give chase as he's putting on some good forechecking. Now Reynolds trying to center it. He falls down, and this is Rory Corton with it, playing it ahead. But South St. Paul able to cage the pressure on. They make some changes on the go, too. Their top line out there against a rather tired Moorhead unit. Coming out in front, but the pass is blocked, and Gerald Burnstrom gets it out to center ice.
Good checking by South St. Paul. Very aggressive up front, taking the body. They're not a tall team, but they're sturdy and they're stocky, and they use the body well when they're forechecking, and really had Moorhead getting seen a little fit there a few times because they were rocking that defense, not allowing them to come out of the zone.
Nader pokes at the center. There's a race for the puck. Siles with good speed. Just can't get there. And goes crashing into the net. He scores.
we can't get the puck in, we'll get ourselves in.
All right. 1-1 is the score. 9:17 remains in period 2. We'll be back to downtown St. Paul for more of this one.
Check out its line. Get behind the wheel, because now's the time to get to your Toyota dealer and get into quality. Toyota's March sales event is here, and so is the all-new Celica with a brand-new Celica lease deal. Only $259 a month can get you into performance and into quality. Also available as a special lease on Supra, the top gun of performance cars. So get to your Toyota dealer before this sales event ends.
That last shift by South St. Paul was their most effective forechecking. Everybody was taking the body up front. They had numerous turnovers. They couldn't quite get a good scoring opportunity. Moorhead reacting and helping out each other at the same time. Moorhead wasn't coming out of the zone very easily due to the strong forechecking by South St. Paul.
Moorhead keeping the play into the zone. Chasing down the corner is Eric Yackel. Getting it up for Ryan Herta. He sends it around to the other side. Bob Herta looks at it, gets it out to neutral. Here's Siles throwing it inside the zone. Siles racing after, but a nice spin move by Pete Cullen, the defenseman of Moorhead, stops the play. Poked loose by Herta. Now Siles gets it for the Packers. Put out in front. Siles deep in the slot, shoots. It's gloved. The puck loose out in front. Cleared by Pete Cullen. Another shot by Siles is knocked down in front. And finally Haberlack grabs it up. Gets it up to Kraft. Here he comes. Kraft shoots. He scores!
I think this kid scored every opportunity he gets. He just doesn't miss. He's only got a little room to shoot in the short side. He's coming down the wing, and you think he's going to pull it through the defenseman and score a goal like he did yesterday afternoon. The defenseman didn't overplay it, so Kraft elected to take the shot. He got a good lead pass out of the outlet pass coming from his own zone, and he's all alone. Here comes the pass up ice right there. Now watch the way he takes a look. He sees he's got some room on the short side, puts it through the legs as the goalie's moving across to cut the angle, and that's all it takes as Kraft puts Moorhead ahead for the first time tonight. Watch that shot from the dot. You see him have his head up and taking a look. Good goal scorers know where they're shooting, and he knew where he was shooting. He saw the opening and put it right there.
And he didn't have much to shoot at either.
No.
And it's really unfortunate for South St. Paul, but give a lot of credit down there to Greywire, the goalie, because he had to come up with about 4 seconds before the goal comes. Here they come again. Matt Cullen going in, and he's stopped at the door mouth by Musta.
I guarantee you the next time Cullen goes in, he's not going to go on the short side again. That's his 3rd time on that angle.
Again, it's played out in front by Cullen. The puck tips towards the net, but goes off into the corner. Jason Boltank relaying it up the wall. Now Moorhead really applying some pressure. They go for a player change, and going for the puck is Josh Arnold. Out to center. Tapped by Ryan Horst into the zone. Back on the Spuds. A race for the puck. David Fear after it. But he's beat to it by Ken Madden, who relays it around. Held in by Grammer. Madden. For Hawkins, he lost it. Grammer shot blocked. He gets it again and lost it. Grammer doing a fine job at the point, keeping it alive. And here comes the pass. 2-on-1. Whoops, they missed the puck and have to regroup for it. Just shooting it in, they start to make a change.
Grammer was playing catch with himself there. He took 3 different shots and the puck kept coming back to him.
Josh Arnold trying to spin through center. Checked off the play. And slammed hard up along the wall by number 7, Tommy Hocking. Tapped by Barron. Bounces off Alego in his front. Siles is breaking, takes the pass, and here comes the pack. 2-on-2. Jason Siles with good speed. Gets it back to Herta, but he's tied up. Can't go anywhere. And here comes the crafty one. Ryan Kraft with 2 goals. Lets the shot go. It's blocked by the defense. He gets it back again from the goalie. Musta centers it. But Siles is down low to recover and flips it to the corner. Kraft is there for it. He spins it back around and goes for a change himself.
You notice when you said Siles down low, that's what you're doing when you're checking well. The centerman's down deep helping out, and Siles made a big play there, stopping that pass, the outlet pass from Kraft.
Icing is called. The score is 2-1. Moorhead with their first lead of the hockey game. You're watching the semifinal Class A AA game from the Civic Center.
Christian Brothers Diamond Design Slapsock, America's stick for '94. For over 30 years, Christian Brothers of War Road, Minnesota have been making the highest quality hockey sticks in composite, aluminum, wood, and fiberglass, and goalie sticks for players of all ages and abilities. All Christian sticks feature the famous Diamond Design Slapsock. The Christian name is your assurance of quality, durability, responsiveness, reliability. Christian Brothers, hockey sticks made by hockey players.
6:02 left in the second period. The Spuds of Moorhead up 2-1. You know, fans come in all shapes and sizes. Some stand up and scream. Others sit quietly. Some, like Corey DeLorme here from Moorhead, not only paints his face, he shaves his head. Corey, why?
Well, first of all, just to show the players that I'm willing to give 110% for them and that they should give 110% for me. And second, to help the fans out here so we can create a nice nucleus of energy for the players to radiate off of.
Corey, what do you do after the tournament? Wear a wig?
Oh, no. Throw it back. It all comes back.
All right, Corey, thank you. Good to see somebody with such great school spirit.
Thanks.
Back to the action. Louie and Wally back upstairs.
There was a staggering hit thrown on the defenseman down there of South St. Paul, who's still slowly going back up ice. Actually, is Ryan Hurd. He's still shaking the cobwebs out. Back comes Moorhead out of the zone. This is Matt Cullen reaching center ice. Lost the puck, but Ryan Frisch carries on. Hurd dumps him. Now Hurd mixing up with Matt Cullen a little bit. Back comes the pack across the line. A long shot. Oh, and a nice save there, and an effort by Horst. Horst working out of the corner. Still has the puck behind the goal. Puts the brakes on. Trying to elude Jameson. Tosses it off to the other side. Trying to get it back for Bob Hurd, but Moorhead breaks it up.
What a great move by Horst. Boy, he gives that defenseman quite a fake, and he was able to get back to his forehand for a good shot. Gregoire had to make a big save. South St. Paul and Moorhead both using their bodies much more this period. A lot heavier checking. We still got some good, solid checking overall, but more physical than before. There's that move by Horst. He gives him the puck. Here you go. Thank you. Comes right by, and boy, he had a great opportunity there. South St. Paul continuing to come at Moorhead when they're in the offensive zone. Go right after the body and look for turnovers. There's a nice hit.
Pete Cullen warded it off well. Josh Arnold gets a long shot on goal. It's steered wide. Haverlack along the boards is knocked down. Lost the puck. It's still loose. Moorhead really starting to fly out here now. They've got a 2-1 lead. Arnold hits a shot just wide. Musta looking back from behind the front of the goal. Several players digging. Kraft pries it loose and puts it out in front. Siles clears it, not out. Back at the point. Pete Cullen tees it up. The shot was partially blocked and goes weakly to the corner. Tapped by the Packers and goes all the way down ice. And Moorhead looking confident right now, Lou. We'll see if that confidence can remain with a 2-1. South St. Paul trailing in this game. 4:10 to go in the period. We'll be back to the Civic Center.
For many, the search for the world's greatest tuna sandwich ends when they discover Subway's Tuna Sub. One taste of our famous fresh baked bread, chunk light tuna, and any or all of our fresh fixed fixins, and it'll hit you too. This sandwich is worthy of the title World's Greatest. So come get hooked on the sandwich that's a tuna fish wish come true.
Come taste the world's greatest tuna sandwich at the world's greatest price. Now the 6-inch tuna sub is just $1.99 for limited time at Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
Moorhead's doing one thing much better than in the first period. That's passing the puck, Wally.
Yeah.
They've had some chances from it. They've got a goal from it. That pass from Haberlock to Kraft had to be on the money, and it was good enough for him to get a breakaway.
South St. Paul, 2-on-1. Here they come on the attack. A shot by Reynolds is right on goal and stepped away by Gregoire. Jameson almost tossed it away. There's a race for it now the other direction. Packer player McAlpine falls down. And a little bit of pushing and shoving after the whistle, too, as they didn't like the way McAlpine was taken out of the play with his hood being knocked off.
Another good chance for South St. Paul. And anytime you go down 2-on-1, people often tend to think you've got to pass the puck, but you don't have to pass the puck if you've got a good shooting angle. And you notice on this attempt right here, even though it's a 2-on-1, well, this isn't it right here, but just before that, when South St. Paul had that 2-on-1 opportunity, it was a perfect angle for Reynolds and Barron to come down and make a play or take the shot. And because the shooter saw that he had a good opportunity to score, he made the shot. Gregoire had to make a good save. Never wrong to put the puck in the net when you got a good shooting angle.
Quick change by the Spuds, as they've done so many times in this game already, to get the right unit out there. The top line for South St. Paul on the ice. And that center, Bob Herda, has a pass across the line being whistled for offside, so we'll stay in neutral as you take a good close look at Jason Siles, who was a top 10 Mr. Hockey finalist. He's also a National Honor Society member.
Good player. Tonight he's just had 3 different occasions when he was just a little too quick getting across the line, getting those offsides when he had an opportunity to get inside the zone and maybe get a shot on net or set up a play. Very clever, crafty with the puck, and also a very, very good goal scorer.
Puck is kicked back by Matt Cullen. Pass up to Troy Bagley, doesn't flip. Coming up along the boards, Clint Nadeau trying to work it up, but it pops into the penalty box, and the attendant there will throw it right back into the hands of the linesman, and we'll drop it one more time.
This is the type of club that and game that both these clubs want to play. They want to play at a high tempo. They want to make certain that they're using their speed. Whenever you got speed, it's one of the best assets you can have in any sport. You got speed in hockey, it creates opportunities, it creates openings, and that's what this club and these teams are doing here tonight. Moorhead had a game yesterday where they were much quicker than the opposition. Well, South St. Paul tonight's got the quickness that Moorhead's got, and that makes for a very, very high tempo when the passing is good at the same time.
Packers on the right. Clint Nadeau going behind the goal is tripped up on the play by number 16, Rory Corton. And the Spuds bring it back to neutral ice. A lot of Packers there to cover up. Matt Cullen going deep into the zone, has a pull checked away, but Gagnon carries on, and his shot is blocked by Musta. Circling out of the corner, Frisch had the puck, then lost it, and Siles now gets it up and gets a return pass. Wise fires, kick right out. Rebound by Ryan Herda, goes into the corner. Herda tries to feed the point, but here come the Spuds 3-on-2. Frisch over to Cullen. He wisely fires, but it hits the defense, going to the corner. Bagley is in there for it, but he's checked. And Siles, a long pass up ice, blocked by Josh Arnold. Arnold back to Kraft. Kraft trying to cut in. He's supposed to knock down. Musta pokes it off to the corner. Madden rings it off the wall, and it carries the length of the rink. It'll be icing against South St. Paul.
Wally, as quick as you said, a 3-on-2 for Moorhead, that's as quick as Siles got back in there. That really shows you a lot. Jason Siles, who's an outstanding offensive player, tonight has played a tremendous game defensively. You said earlier when he intercepted that pass down deep by the goaltender, took away an opportunity. That time he came back hard and fast and eliminated Kraft on the play. He really worked defensively, comes back hard, and he eliminated that 3-on-1 for Moorhead, or 3-on-2 for Moorhead by just catching up to the play. Really doing a great job out there defensively tonight.
You know, and I heard comments from several people in the hockey community earlier that they didn't really know how good a player Siles was, and he may be overrated. But when you see the great two-way play he's displaying here, it's no wonder that there's been several colleges looking at bringing him on board.
He's had an outstanding two-way game. You're right. He really wants to win. He's working hard all over the ice, making good plays. In fact, his offside where he just caused through over anxiety.
Kraft trying to come off ice, but he's dropped to the playing surface, and that's what South St. Paul's doing. They're not letting Kraft get open now. Horst lets one go. Gregoire sends it off to the corner. Now it's put out in front by Schultz. Puck bounces high in the air to the point. McAlpine turns and shoots. It ends up right on goal. And Gregoire holds on. You know, Gregoire's a guy, you know, he let in 3 goals in that first game against White Bear Lake. He only faced 9 shots. And they were actually down at one point in that hockey game, but he is certainly looking a lot stronger in this one tonight, Lou.
Oh, he's got a 1.01 goals against average. Very, very low, especially for the type of schedule they played. They played some outstanding teams. When you look at a team like Elk River that's not here, you know, that's one of the best teams in the state. It's unfortunate they're not here. I think they've got a tremendous program there. And boy, they've had a few classics with Moorhead this year.
Elk River going into that Section 8 final, rated number 1 in the state. Moorhead right behind them, and they went into 4 overtimes to decide who was going to come here. Moorhead won it. What a classic game that was. 7,000 fans watching that one up in the National Sports Center in St. Cloud. Play stays in the Moorhead zone. Several players going after it. Wrestling up along the walls there with Troy Barron. Barron falls. The puck is loose. Packers controlling it. Trying to set it up. We're less than 50 seconds remaining in the period. Shot from the point by Yackel. Hits a leg going wide. It's cleared. Not out. A second effort by Cullen. Puts it out to center. Fired back in by the Pack. They have to tag up, setting offside as you see the time remaining in the period. At center, Matt Cullen. Driven in finally by Jameson. Moorhead changing on the fly for the final few seconds of the period. Long pass, eludes Louis Sylvester. He gets it back again, sends it towards the net. It's tipped just wide by Nadeau. And it rolls all the way back to center. Now one final run for Moorhead. Here's Pratt across the line. A nice drop pass, but the checking was there, breaking it up. 4 seconds remain. The Packers won't have a chance. And the buzzer sounds, bringing it close to period number 2. And we are no different than we were after the first period. It's a 1-goal difference. However, the lead has changed.
One thing you noticed that period, Wally, those clubs were changing about 25, 30 seconds. That pace is starting to wear on both teams, and each of them smart enough to get off the ice before they get tired. When you get tired, you make mistakes, and they want to make certain they're changing at the proper time, and we saw very quick changes, especially in the last 5 minutes. As you're looking at Ryan Kraft going off the ice, who continues to lead this Moorhead Spuds hockey team with outstanding play and absolutely fabulous goal scoring. Every opportunity that kid gets, he either puts it in the net or makes the goaltender come up with a tremendous save.
He's got both. Spuds goals tonight. He had 4 yesterday against White Bear Lake. No question. He is the man of the tournament right now. 2 teams going off for a short intermission. We've got one coming up for you, so don't go away. We'll be right back here on Minnesota 9. Semi-final action in the Big School Tournament, live from the Civic Center.
Yeah. This is TCM. Who? Mr. Miller, if you could change the way banks do business, what would you change?
I'd make them have a lot more cash machines in more locations for emergencies.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Thank you.
TCF, banking the way you want it.
Open the doors, all 4, or 5, or just 2. Because now's the right time to get to your Toyota dealer and get to quality and into a Camry. And with Camry's new low $249 lease, Camrys are more affordable than ever. Camry, a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. Camry, the best car built in America. There are special leases on all Camry models during this March sales event, but you'd better hurry. This sales event ends April 5th.
CCM, more power to your game.
These are annual and perennial weeds before Banvel. These are annual and perennial weeds after Banvel. This is Spike. These were weeds. This is Canopy. Unlike contact herbicides, just one spray of Banvel at Spike gives you all the residual control you need. Banvel. It's simple, but effective.
And now, a Minnesota 9 News update.
Hello, I'm Robin Robinson. Police are investigating a drive-by shooting in South Minneapolis tonight. It happened in front of a convenience store on 19th and Chicago Avenue South. One man was shot but was able to drive himself to the hospital. The PLO is ready to resume peace talks with Israel, but no one's sure when that will happen. A Russian go-between says guarantees will be worked out on Monday. Talks ended after a Jewish settler killed 29 Muslims at a mosque last month. And a proposal for a gas tax increase is moving through the legislature in Minnesota, despite Governor Carlson's opposition. It would increase the state gas tax from 20 to more than 24 cents. The money would go to road construction projects. We know a lot of you are new to Minnesota 9 News, so we'd like to show you more of what we're all about.
If you've seen Minnesota 9 News lately, you've seen the most complete coverage of the events that touch our lives. You've seen local and national news with depth and insight that other newscasts don't have time for.
9 Lives follows Fred Armwell. He draws his art from his Native American spiritual heritage.
People that make the Twin Cities unique. Different news features.
The Minnesota 9 Newsroom has a new approach.
How many newscasts are interactive?
Well, our 9-line question tonight, what's on your mind? Just give us a call and tell us what's going on.
Our 9-line actually provides same-night viewer feedback at the end of each newscast.
Tonight's 9-line question, what's on your mind? Here's some of what you have to say.
Pressing issues.
I'm really concerned. It seems like this year crime seems to be rising. We need to do something.
Key conflicts.
Well, I think the news has a lot of negative issues on it, and I think you should work more on the positive stuff.
Minnesota speaks its mind on the 9-line.
I think this 9-line is great. It's really nice to hear what other people have to say about the issues going on today.
From first impressions to the last word, only one station brings you what's on Minnesota's mind, nights after nights, issue after issue. And the call is free. The 9-line. Growing, meeting the changing needs of viewers in the Twin Cities. Award-winning stories. All from the #1 independent television station in the country. KMSP TV's Minnesota 9 News.
That's all for now. We'll have a complete wrap-up of the day's news after the game. I'm Robin.
So we're driving around in my brand new Escort Sport, and she starts complaining about how I don't spoil her enough. And I say, spoiler? Now you're talking. Because not only did my Escort Sport come with a spoiler, but I also got some alloy wheels, a tack, and an airbag at no extra charge. Then she starts saying something about commitment. And I say, whoa, whoa, whoa. My Ford dealer is committed to my satisfaction. Then she looks at me and says, maybe we should just be friends. And I say, okay, okay, okay. You can drive. The Escort Sport. Check it out, your Ford dealer.
Okay, look, you want a great Mitsubishi TV? Sure you do. You want to save some money? Of course you do. You want a killer VCR? Well, grab a hold of this. No money down, no finance charges, and no payments for a year. So what's to think about, huh? 1 year for zero, zippo, nada, bupkis. You want the good stuff? Big TVs, little TVs, and very cool VCRs? Well, we got them right here, right now. Audio King. Nobody does Mitsubishi better.
Ready for spring by updating your kitchen at Menards. Elger cast iron sinks are now on sale. Choose from many styles and colors. This white double bowl sink is $128 after rebate. Add style to your sink with a faucet from Peerless. This double handle faucet is just $29.69. A single handle with pull-out spray is $99.99. At Menards, you'll always find low prices.
Save big money at Menards.
Express yourself at Knott's Camp Snoopy, and you could win a trip to Knott's Berry Farm in California. Use any TCF Express Teller cash machine starting March the 9th to the 26th. Save your receipt, and then watch for the qualifying numbers announced each day live during the Tournaments on 9. Match 4 consecutive numbers from your Express Teller transaction number, and you qualify to win. Now you can find 2 new TCF Express Teller cash machines at Knott's Camp Snoopy. So kids, remind your parents to check their receipt for the qualifying numbers. TCF is proud to sponsor the broadcast of the Tournaments on 9.
A 1-goal lead for the South St. Paul Packers stood up through the first period and the very early stages of the second. However, Moorhead coming right back with a couple of goals and have taken a lead. And Lou, I think the big thing we've seen is a little more speed in this period of hockey. We saw the team breaking out of the zone better, and certainly the passing has certainly improved over the initial period of play.
That's been the most important thing for Moorhead. They connected on a couple of good passes, and that's how they scored their goals. And I think we were more physical that period. Both teams using the body more. South St. Paul even a little more physical than Moorhead. and South St. Paul working very well defensively, because Moorhead seemed to pick up after they got their first goal. Seemed again to give them a sense of relief like it did last night in the third period when they got that goal to finally get him back in the game. Here's the first goal. Cullen sliding the pass across, and right off the pass, Kraft shooting. He missed it a little bit. He got enough on it to get it to, by the goaltender, but the goalie was actually going down expecting a harder, quicker shot, and he fired off the pass, just went over it a bit, but still good enough to get a goal. Second goal, look at Haberlach turning around, Kraft's way up ice, and this is the key. A good pass this time, banks it off the boards, right on the stick of Kraft, puts him in all alone. Now Kraft looks, the goalie's going to be moving, Kraft's on the dot, sees the opening between the legs, puts it there, and that puts Moorhead ahead 2-1. And Kraft, again, when he gets those opportunities, making them count.
He sure is. He's had a great tournament so far. Now, we've talked a little bit about the line matching going on. What do you see in that little game being played by the two coaches?
Well, I see Welch doing the same thing. He wants to have Siles line against Kraft's line, and obviously Cullen wants to come back with Cullen's line. He's got Cullen centering that second line, play them against South St. Paul's first line. And so every time South St. Paul has the last change, you see a face-off, they get their matchup. But the moment the puck's dropped, you see Moorhead going back to the bench to try and get their matchup, and you play those cat-and-mouse games all along, and that really helps because Siles has done such an outstanding job when he's on the ice against that top line, and especially against Kraft. They have really played well, and Herta on the wing is a dangerous threat at all times. So that's been a beautiful matchup all night long, and made for a very, very interesting bit of play between the two coaches.
Well, the play between the players was pretty much dead even on the ice when you look at the statistics. Let's turn our page here and the U.S. West yellow pages, and we'll see the shots on goal were dead even in the second period. Still that 5-shot bulge, and Moorhead built up in the opening period of play. And I expect we're going to see pretty much a good, fast period of hockey here for the third period.
I think we will, especially since those clubs were changing quicker, meaning they want to make certain everybody's fresh, and when they're fresher, they keep that high tempo. Clubs were changing quite well all the way through that second period. You'll see the same in the third.
We're going to see some fast-paced hockey from the players on the ice, and the chess match will continue between the coaches. Third period coming up. It's a one-goal hockey game. Who's going to win? I don't know. Neither do you, but stay with us here on Minnesota 9. We got a dandy to finish this first semifinal game off. We'll be back with that in a moment.
Has 800 horns, dozens of antennas, 4,000 wheels, and lives under 3 ounce. The auto show at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Make tracks. Come see over 100,000 horses gathered together under one roof. The auto show at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Make tracks. It's here. $14 million worth of cars, trucks, and conversion vans. Auto Show 94 revs up at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Make tracks.
Here's the truth. It has a beautiful body, but its beauty is more than skin deep. The all-new GMC Sonoma. See it at your dealer. Go to your GMC truck dealer instead. Because right now, they have a special allocation of all-new GMC Sonomas at an incredible lease rate. So see your dealer today.
At last year's tournaments, there was a lot of trashing going on, but not all was lost. Minnesota's recycled food cans have become part of today's hockey blades. Recycling completes its circle in steel basketball hoops, and reusable hockey sticks are scoring big points among players. But what else could have been made with recycled content? And what else could be collected for recycling? It's up to all of us. Ask for more, because when you recycle, we all win. For more information on ways you can reduce, reuse, and recycle, call the Office of Waste Management.
RoboCop premieres Tuesday, March 15th on Minnesota 9.
Welcome back to the St. Paul Civic Center. Ooh, that looks good. That's the way to start the third period. Take it on in and enjoy it. Enjoy some great hockey as well. Moorhead leading 2-1 as you view it from our GMC Viking Land cam. The shot you can't get anywhere else. You can see the whole perspective there, and we're happy to have them along with us as a sponsor throughout the tournament. Well, those South St. Paul Packers have the steers on their chest. Potato heads in the stands. I guess you can call it a meat and potatoes night here at the St. Paul Stadium. A couple of scores to pass along your way. Minnesota Golden Gophers now ahead of Denver 5-3 after 2 periods. Timberwolves leading Charlotte 46-42 at halftime. Now, you had a chance to visit with coaches coming off the ice. What do they have to say about what's going on?
Well, I talked with Terry Cullen, and he's up 2-1 going into the third, but it's almost as if he's down. He's not happy. He says his team has to regroup. He says that the South St. Paul Packers, they're preventing his team from really getting out there and skating. He wants better passing. He says they got to play good defense, concentrate on the fundamentals. But he's not happy. I had to check the scoreboard twice and make sure that he was leading. But he is. He's not that happy right now.
Well, as Lou and Wally mentioned, Jason Siles' line doing a great job on the Josh Arnold, Ryan Kraft line. Siles and Kraft will be teammates competing for freshman ice time next year. But right now, they're rivals, both trying to get into that state championship game. Let's go back up there to Wally and Lou.
Well, thanks, guys, for the analogy, and it's great to hear those words from the coaches. And you take a look at the mastermind of the Moorhead Spuds, Jerry Cullen, and he's getting his boys jacked up right now. And this should be a dandy of a third period.
He looks intense, and he looks like he's not happy right now.
No, he doesn't.
He knows he's got a heck of a hockey game going here, and South St. Paul is not giving him anything. They're going to have to earn what they get. South St. Paul playing the kind of game that you'd like to see them play. Coming in here, they had a wonderful record throughout the year, and you look at Coach Russ Welch, and they're playing one of the top teams in the state, and they're skating with him stride for stride, probably out-hitting them. If you look at the body checking, I'd say you'd have to give the nod to South St. Paul, but the fact is, at this time, Moorhead's got a 2-1 lead, and Moorhead, what we tend to forget, is also a very good defensive team. They don't give up many goals. You got a goaltender who's got a 1 goal against game average. You know they're good defensively. So South St. Paul's got to earn what they get as well. It makes for a wonderful third period.
Linesman Michael Gagger is calling Matt Cullen of Moorhead to center ice along with Jason Siles. First line against the second line of the Spuds. Just the way Mr. Spud, Terry Cullen, wants to have it happen. And off the draw comes into the South St. Paul zone. Bounces in behind the goal. Where's Ryan McAlpine with it? Pass to the left side for Ryan Herta. A long rink-wide pass now to Kurt Nadeau and reaching the line, but apparently he dragged the puck in behind him, making it offside.
See what happened there, Welch came out this time, and he went along with the kind of matchup that Cullen does, and he probably went along with it thinking, I'm down 2-1, I've done a pretty good job on Kraft's line, but at the same time, I'm behind. I better get my offensive line, my top offensive line, an opportunity to maybe get a goal, so he says, I'll put my top line against your second line and see if I can get a goal.
Here's Cullen, the coach's kid. A long pass up to Frisch, trying to cut in, but he's taken down in the play on a nice jolt by Ryan McAlpine. Behind the goal, Cullen has a pass to back towards the point. Siles now gets in, and here he comes, 3-on-2. Up for Herta, a long shot, he scores! Ryan Herta from 55 feet away ties up the game.
Another real good play again by Siles to get that puck and get it up. Good passing play, gives it to Herta. Long shot, just beats Gregoire. And I'm sure the goaltender's not too happy with that one. But here's Siles knocking that puck down, feeding it up ahead. And Welch's move pays dividends. This time he goes with his top line against the second line, and he gets the goal he's looking for. As Herta, the goal scorer, again on the short side, gets his second of the game. And the sophomore lights the light, as he's done so often for South St. Paul this year, and ties the game early at 2.
That can make Russ look like a coaching genius. Yep. Well, Jeremy Gregoire probably didn't play that as well as he could have, and he would love to have that chance back. But unfortunately, he can't. It's tied at 2. In the corner, Pete Cullen for Moorhead. Tries to clear the puck and bounces back in behind. And number 11, Pete Cullen, gets it around for Rob Kramer. Now up for Kraft. Kraft is checked. Second line of South St. Paul up against the top line of Moorhead as the puck is back in the second goal. Bob Herta to Yackel to Bob Herta. His pass was right up the middle where Kraft is waiting for it. He lines and fires and top the circle. A couple of rebounds. And Musta makes about 3 or 4 saves down there. Then he's flattened, and there's going to be a Packer penalty coming up. Meanwhile, here comes Kraft back. Moorhead has possession. The whistle won't blow until the possession changes. Kraft ducks off a check, still has the puck. Back to Collin, a shot right on. And finally, it's controlled by the Packers' Sylvester. And the call will be made against St. Paul. Moorhead power play coming up. Their second one of the game. It's tied at 2. Don't go away. We'll return for more of Hockey 94.
I was having a little trouble with my brakes. They said I needed new brake pads. I think CarX fixes only what needs to be fixed, and that's why I'd go back to CarX.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
Peter Schultz going to be going off for hooking Moorhead with that vaunted power play that connected earlier in the game. Now back in the power play, game tied at 2, and Musta had to make 3 saves on Haberlack right after Ryan Kraft fired a bullet. Musta had to stop 3 point-blank shots. Haberlack was alone.
Between the legs, backhander by Cullen is right on that, and a quick whistle will stop play. The Moorhead power play again, 52%. It's absolutely skyrocketing country. Most power plays are around the 20 to 24% range, so you can tell how good this is. They're 0 for 1, so that means they're due to score. Back at center ice, Grammer to Cullen, circling into the zone. Matt Cullen around the goal, tries a shot, Musta saves, puck loose, Siles pokes it ahead, then takes a return pass. Here's Siles 1 against 1. Siles can't get around the last defenseman, Jameson. Now picks up the puck, fires it across ice to an open area. Hurley turns and whistles one right up into his own band.
Well, South St. Paul will go on the offense whenever they get control of the puck. You know, they're a team that you have to worry about, even though you're on the power play. They kill it aggressively. They come after you, and when they get an opportunity, especially this kid Herta and his line mate Siles, they'll go on the offense and try and get an opportunity. Moorhead did score in their first power play. It was only into about 10 seconds. That first one by Kraft. So
that's right.
South St. Paul's aware of that because this team is tough. But when they turn that puck over, expect South St. Paul to get it and go with it and try and get a goal themselves.
Time being killed off as the Packers drive it in. Pete Cullen, a converted forward, back on defense, moves it up ice for Kraft. Kraft across the line, going to the outside, circles the goal, cuts out in front, shoots it, hit the goal post. Back in the point, Cullen plays it back down low for Arnold. Here's Arnold, top of the circle, his shot right on, Musta saves, and it's slapped down ice by the Packers.
What another great play by Kraft. And not only he hit the pipe, you should have seen him coming out of his own zone. One hand, he had to slip that puck through the forechecker coming. That was the best play coming down the ice. Then he had the presence of mind to do what he does so well. That's wait until a proper moment. He got the puck up where he wanted, just an inch too high and hit the crossbar.
Well, he had some just gorgeous goals yesterday against White there. The patience that guy possesses out in front of the net is amazing. Here's Cullen out in front. A shot is right on. Musta making the save off of Haberlack. Jameson from the point. One shot blocked, and then passes it back down low. It's cranked around the other side by Boltank, but not out. Matt Cullen holding it in to the side of the goal. Haberlack is dropped. McAlpine now looks it high in the air, but not out. Jameson containing it at the line. Haberlack chasing to the corner. Behind the net now for Cullen. Cullen in front. Haberlack shoots a point-blank range. And it's a cage match. It's Musta comes up with a save.
Oh, what a game Musta's playing. He has robbed Haberlack 5 times this period. Haberlack again on the doorstep after a great pass by Cullen from behind the net. He had 2 shots. Musta really coming up with some big saves. Watch this nice little play. You see Arnold behind the net and Cullen. Now the puck's going to come free right here. Cullen out front to Haberlack on the doorstep. 1 shot, 1 save, rebound, a 2nd save, and he's going to jump on it as Arnold coming around from behind pulls the net over top. But
boy, he's lucky he didn't get the crossbar across the head, but his left arm got jammed pretty good when the pipe fell on him.
Sophomore goaltender now has had 23 shots, only given up 2 goals, and he's had some quality saves to make in this period. And he's had the pipe helping him as well on Kraft's shot.
wins the draw back to Grammer. His shot hits a skate out in front on drive. Penalty has expired, so we have South St. Paul at full strength. Behind the goal, fresh number 10 is Chip. Nice quick pass, and here comes Sylvester. Louis Sylvester, a long rising shot over top the goal. Sylvester charging down low for it, but the Spuds come away. Cross-ice pass to Fresh. Ryan Fresh lets it go, blocked by the defense. Grammer pokes it towards the net, but again the South St. Paul defense, as they have so many times tonight, blocking it. And Roar shoots it back down and heads off as South St. Paul changes on the move. Kraft to Arnold. Back to Kraft, number 19, open man out in front. But Kraft is slowed down by the Packer defense and can't ever get the pass away. Now he steals it back from Yackel. Kraft behind the goal. Out in front. Arnold shoots and it's kicked away by Musta. Here's Hurley coming back now for the Packers. His shot, a scorcher, is just wide. A rebound is right on goal. Another try by Nader is not there.
Easily the best period we've had thus far because both clubs passing the puck extremely well. South St. Paul defense still playing very physical, not letting Moorhead players stand around and being effective even when they're outmanned.
Siles is open, and a long pass from Ryan Hurta just misses, but Siles gets it, tries a quick stuff shot, but Gregoire was on the spot. Now Hurta behind the goal, trying to wrestle it away from the defenseman on the play. It's still there, but Hurta has a shot, just grazed the base of the net. Cullen moves it up ice instead of icing it, and here's Redfield skating back. Jason Redfield, and he's taken down on a nice jolt there by Jason Coltrane. Race goes hockey, it's tied up. Here's a long shot, and that's taken wide by Gregoire. Oh, what a third period we have here. At the blue line, one shot by Aaron goes right towards the net, and Gregoire flops on it, and he'll hold for a face-off. Hang on, grab yourself a cold one. It's the Menard scoreboard telling you the story. There is a break, and we'll be back for more of this exciting finish.
Twin Cities Leather and Boot Warehouse Sale. 50% off and more. Twin Cities Leather and Boot Warehouse Sale going on now in downtown Hopkins, Blaine, Burnsville, and Woodbury.
South St. Paul with a couple of real good chances, and this is what Gregoire wanted, a chance to make some tough saves, and he had to make a couple of tough saves as both clubs really pick up the action. Easily the best play of the night. Both teams coming out here in the third period with some heavy hitting, good passing, good chances, and a couple of goals, and we have ourselves an outstanding hockey game, tied at 2 with 8:41 to go in the third period.
Horst against Matt Cullen. Matt wins the draw. Tries to get a pass. Puck loose. Horst whacks at it, but it deflects over top the goal. Now Hurta trying to center it, but it's taken by Troy Bagney. Long pass now to Ryan Frisch. Has Cullen with him. Frisch trying to center it. Does. But some good back checking by Yackel breaks up the pass. Here come the Packers right back out. Peter Schultz to center. Caps it in. He was a captain of the football team in all conference as well for South St. Paul. Pass back off the wall. Back comes Sylvester with a long shot going wide. Coming down low is Hawking for it. Behind the net for Sylvester. Sylvester dropped to the ice by Pete Cullen. Defenseman holding it in. A shot right on goal. There's a scramble out in front. Puck high in the air. Bagney tries to curve. Can't get the second effort with it. And this time flips it high into the air. And it'll bounce back to the South St. Paul line. Moorhead changing on the fly. South St. Paul doing likewise. Cullen, who used to play with Rochester John Marshall, has a pass block at center. Back comes Nader with a shot, and that whistles one just wide. Siles tries to hold it in, but it's popped loose. Josh Arnold racing after it, but he falls in the process. And McAlpine takes control for South St. Paul.
So St. Paul defense very effective here tonight, really riding people off the puck. And one thing they haven't done so much is getting a lot of shots on net, but they have started to do that in the third period. And Eric Yackel, he's got 13 goals this year, very dangerous back there in the point if he gets an opportunity.
Josh Arnold pass goes off of Kraft's stick to center. And here's Yackel to his partner Rohr. Across the line now for Nadeau. Nadeau to Siles. He's dangerous. Siles getting in, and his shot goes off the goaltender. Gregoire wide. Yackel fans on it. Tries another shot. It's partially blocked. The goal to center. Siles decides to stay on the ice. Good thing, but Kraft strips the puck from him. He scores! An incredible shot! Absolutely incredible! That puck had to have eyes.
How did it go in? I don't even. I'm telling you, everything he shoots goes in the net. I look from here like it had to go through the side of the net. What a goal he got. He just had nothing to do with the puck, so he says, I'll shoot it at the net, and shoot it he does from an impossible angle. Watch it. I don't know where that went through. It had to go through the short side, inside. We don't have a camera angle from the far side, but boy, what a goal after tremendous pressure put on by South St. Paul. A hat trick for Kraft on the short side from a near impossible angle. Puts the Spuds ahead 3-2, and I'll guarantee you that guy there, Kraft, is as surprised as anybody else in the building that are in this. He just wanted to put it on the net, and he put it in the net. Big play for Moorhead after South St. Paul just had fabulous and tremendous pressure for the last 3 minutes on Moorhead. It looked like a nothing play. South St. Paul almost got caught in a line change, and the man going off knew that if he went off, Kraft had a breakaway. So they told him from the bench, stay on. He stayed on, forced Kraft to the far angle. Seemingly just a harmless shot on net, ends up in the net, and that puts the Spuds ahead.
Amazing. Siles with Kraft with 7 goals in the tournament. Hat trick tonight, a hat trick plus 1 yesterday. And here they come breaking out again. Bagney across the line. Gets around the man, but is forced behind the net and plays it out in front. Nobody there. Here come the pack back. Bob Hurda shooting it into the zone. Pete Cullen chasing it down. Ringing it around to the other side. Not out. Boltank holding it in. Put in towards it. And it's tipped, and Gregoire out of position. Barely tipped it wide of the goal. 3-2 is the score. 5.5 to go.
What a good effort by Schultz to change the direction of that puck. And at the last second, it got saved.
5.5 left. 3-2. Moorhead over South St. Paul. Hang on. We've got just a bit to go to decide this one.
It's the biggest truck sale in the heartland, but time is running out. You have 2 days left to save big on the most popular truck in the heartland, Chevy CK. Plus, get $1,200 in option package discounts. One look and you'll see why Chevy outsells Ford, Dodge, Toyota, and all the rest. Nobody beats Chevy. Nobody. Don't wait one more day. It all ends March 14th. Hurry to your Heartland Chevy GO dealers.
You want to see a heart stopper? Watch this. Horst with the shot. And as Gregoire's coming out to cut the angle, Schultz changes the direction right there with a fabulous deflection. Gregoire has to reach out and get it with the paddle on the goal stick to make the save and keep Moorhead ahead 3-2.
Gregoire won the #1 goaltending job from his backup, Troy Brecky, who had the job for the last 2 years. Burnstrom up along the boards. #4 for Moorhead. Can't get to it. It comes slowly to the goaltender, Gregoire. And this time he hangs on.
And you can expect South St. Paul Packers to go to the net just like Hurda did right there. They will continually go to the net looking for rebounds, hoping to screen, get anything free they can from Gregoire. They're trailing by 1. They've been putting pressure on this period. This is the best period South St. Paul has played, and they've played an excellent hockey game. Playing very well this period. Moorhead knows they're in a battle, and Moorhead actually was hanging on when they got that goal by Kraft. And they're still a little tenuous right now because they know South St. Paul is not giving up here.
It's certainly not over. Off the draw. Here comes Rory Corton. One of two brother-offs on this team. He has a younger brother playing on the fourth line, and goaltender Gregoire has a younger brother playing on the fourth line as well. Down in the corner, Bernstrom is trying to get it to Fear. Rolling out of the corner, here's Westfield. The shot is right on goal. The rebound. Musta hugging the pipe with his pad on the ice. Makes the save. Back comes Julian Sylvester shooting it in. Jameson rolls it around to the other door. Stolen by Madden. The defenseman is way down low for South St. Paul and stuffing it up along the wall right now. And finally, we have a stoppage of play here. Both teams will make some changes. We're going to take a break and return to the St. Paul Civic Center for more of this semifinal game.
I've always wanted to make people look and feel good about themselves. And I get that chance every day at Great Clips. I listen to what they want before I ever start cutting because I want my customers to love how they look. People can stop in when it's convenient, evenings, weekends, without an appointment. They know they'll get a great haircut at a great price every time. Look at that! And that's what Great Clips is all about.
You see South St. Paul defensemen this period get much more involved in the offensive zone, and when they do, just like Madden moved up in the play, a wing has taken that position. Very well coached and disciplined and playing good position this far.
Puck rolls over the glass into the souvenir country. And while those young lads are rustle around for it, we'll get a new one. And
well, I think you got a score there. University of Minnesota leading Duluth 6-4.
6-4. McAlpine, I'm not sure if it's Mike or Chris McAlpine, has 2 goals in the game. Anyway, either the younger brother or the relative is on the ice right now. Ryan McAlpine for South St. Paul. The Spikes trying to roll out of their own zone. Arnold to center ice. To Kraft. He's done all the Moorhead scoring here tonight. Crossroad. And now Siles to center. Coming across the line from Nadeau, but the defense of Cullen is there to break it up. And again, the puck pops up into the crowd.
Cullen had a good game last night. Pete Cullen back in defense for Moorhead. And Moorhead's defense, they use 4. Cullen, Grammer, Jameson, Corson really get the bulk of the ice time. Very solid. They're somewhat undistinguished. You don't notice them out there except when they get a hold of the puck in the offensive zone. Both Grammer and Cullen can really shoot that puck.
Obviously, that's solid for defense to have.
Yep. They're very solid. They do their job. They're unheralded, but they really come up with the plays and give a lot of protection back there with Gregoire.
Good heavy pressure being applied now by Moorhead. This is War being bothered by Cullen as a shot right on goal. Oh, back to score! Number 10, Ryan Frisch. And that forechecking pressure pays off as the Packers had a tough time going from one side to the other. Frisch intercepts and pounds it home for a 4-2 Moorhead lead.
Well, he gets that rebound from the right side. The puck's turned over and the shot goes to the net. And I don't know, he really had to get that up quick. It almost seemed like it deflected off the goalie because you see the pass from the shot from the right side. There it comes off. The goaltender must have. He played it up and over right into the net. It was Corden, the defenseman, standing in there, getting the shot over in the net, and it resulted in the goal by Frisch.
Timeout has been called on the ice. It's 4-2 now with 3.5 to go. We'll be back for more of High A School Hockey number 4 from the Civic Center.
It's the biggest truck sale in the heartland, but time is running out. You have 2 days left. See us now, and you could be driving this brand new Chevy S-Series loaded with AM/FM stereo and much more. Not for $300 a month, but only $177 for 24 months. $177. Don't wait one more day. It all ends March 14th. Hurry to your Heartland Chevy Geo dealers.
Well, this is a game of inches, and it just goes in by an inch after the puck is turned over right here, and the shot over by Cartan. Watch it as it comes to Frisch, quickly off his blade, up and hit the shaft right there and into the upper part of the net. Must have moved across. He made the save and he got over in the proper position, but that stick just hit an inch of that shaft and deflected right into the upper part of the net, putting Moorhead ahead by 2 with 3:26 to go. And you're looking at the goal scorer there, Ryan Frisch. He's had a couple of good opportunities tonight. He likes to come down the wing, pull the puck to the inside, and try to cut for the net. He wasn't able to score before, but he made no mistake on that one on the deflection after the shot from the far side by Corton. Just deflected right to his blade, and he was quick. He had to handle that puck on the blade, walling right back up in the net.
Well, a good presence of mind to go upstairs, too, sensing that Musta was down. Nice assist, too, to Matt Cullen, number 7 for Moorhead. He was really applying that forechecking pressure. Here's Frisch now, sending it up ice to Cullen. Cullen poking it around the man, but it gets loose to the goaltender, Musta, who fires it right back up the middle of the ice. He won't have enough muster to get across the goal line for an icing call. And now Grammer goes around the goal. Centering pass is blocked. Picked up at center by Frisch. And he shoots it back into the South St. Paul end. Steered to center by Schultz, but we again have a puck going up into the crowd. We'll have a new one. And a face-off in the neutral zone between the two blue lines.
Well, you can expect Moorhead now to be even more diligent checking. When they get control of the red line, if they have the puck, they'll try and get it down. At the same time, South St. Paul is going to open it up a little bit. They'll gamble a little bit more. The goaltender's got to be watching the clock and his coach to see when he's going to come out, because with 2 goals down, you got to pull your goaltender earlier. There's no use protecting a loss. You go for the win, and you got to gamble a little bit more. And this is just what Moorhead wants. When you start to gamble against a potent offensive team like that, unless you're letter perfect, you turn that puck over, and it's going to be history. But nothing else South St. Paul can do, because they played a great game tonight, just haven't been able to get the amount of goals that they need. And that high-powered offense led by Straff has done it again. He's got 3 this period. The 4th one from Frisch has given them a 2-goal lead.
South St. Paul on the attack. The puck down low. Tipped right on goal by Herta. And Gregoire covers it up.
And that's what you could expect a lot of right now. The goaltender to get some face-offs, don't take any chances, leave nothing around, and the defenseman to take the man out. You got to take the man out.
Minnesota Gophers now with a healthy 7-4 lead over Denver University in their 3rd period. Face off to the right of Gregoire. Comes right to him. Kramer behind the goal. Nice steal by Siles. Into the circle. He centers it. The puck never gets there. Another try. Gregoire is down. Puck behind the goal and rolls up the side board. Nobody seems to want it. Waiting was Ryan Herta for it. Herta trying to feed it back to Siles. Comes to the point. Full tank. Off the glass. But Moorhead covers. Third up the center. Here comes Arnold. He shoots it into the zone.
Well, that worked by South St. Paul. You had 5 Moorhead hockey players all around the net. You could have put a hula hooper on all 5. They're all back there helping out.
Rushing up ice is Clint Nadeau. Into the corner for Ryan Herta. Around it goes for Grammer. Grammer number 3. Moorhead being checked. It rolls to the line, not out to Calpine. Now to Siles. A shot right on. The rebound. They score! Ryan Herta! 4-3, folks. There's a minute and a half to go. Don't you go away.
And watch that shot. He takes the shot. It comes right back to him. And those quick hands put it away again. People down in front of us from Moorhead were doing the wave, and I was just going to say they're doing it a little early, and they certainly are, because here's the shot coming and a rebound coming right back out, and those quick hands by Herta just pounce on that rebound, beat Gregoire on the far side, and pull South St. Paul Packers to within 1, and there's plenty of time left. 1:37 as we got our 2nd hat trick of the evening. Pratt with one for Moorhead. Herta with another one for South St. Paul. And the Packers, as you're looking at the youngster, the sophomore sensation from South St. Paul, catching his breath and very excited.
7 goals have been scored in this game, but only 3 players have found the 20. Pratt has 3, Ryan Herta has 3, and the difference really is a goal by Frisch, which makes it 4-3. Here the Packers come on the attack again. Goes up in front. Here's the side. And that goes just one. Behind Cullen to center ice for Ryan Fresh. Fresh rolling in on a breakaway. Oh, and Muska gets a piece of that one. Here's Cullen in the corner. Last minute to go in the period. Yako shooting to center. Stopped there by Pete Cullen. Everybody, antsy here in the building. People on their seats. Horst off the wall. Just gets past Ryan Hurta and rolls back into the Moorhead end. Tired Poppy's out there, but they're not stopping now. Icing is going to be called against Moorhead, and that was an unfortunate play by Ryan Kraft, as it'll spell a face-off back in his defending zone.
I think he'd like to have that one back. Maybe he thought he was at the red line. He only had 2 more strides to go to the red line to get it in and keep it in. Instead, we get an icing call. I'm surprised the goalie's still in. There's 27 seconds to go. I can't believe he's not going to pull the goaltender. It's 4-3.
Now we're going to wait and see who gets possession here from the draw, but he's...
Well, you're already in the offensive zone. It doesn't matter who gets possession. You got the extra man can go after the puck. We're going to have a timeout here. And I think by the time we get back after the timeout, he'll pull him. But South St. Paul now getting the kind of situation they want, a face-off in the offensive zone.
Yes.
Trailing by 1, they got to win the draw and get a shot on net. They expect to create a little havoc in front of the net if they win that draw, and they'll get there and chop away for rebounds, hope that some puck finds its way through.
You're looking at Russ Welch guiding his troops around him, setting up the final play. He is in his 10th year, and this is his 5th tournament appearance. And it'll be his last, because he's going to retire from the coaching position at South St. Paul and move to Hastings. Actually, he lives down there now. He teaches at Hastings High School, but wants to watch his kids grow up down in that area.
Well, he's had a lot of coaching in the past and really enjoyed it. Done a fabulous job with South St. Paul. He's been here so many times, and really the guy got this team here tonight. Really a well-coached hockey team, and so is that fellow Cullen's got a well-coached team. Both these clubs have given us a number of thrills here tonight. Well-paced hockey game, exciting all the way along, with the exception for just 2 minutes. We had 1-goal game all the way through. They quickly closed that to 1, and now South St. Paul has pulled their goaltender. This makes for a fitting finish should it end now, and there's no thought that it might end, because South St. Paul's got the capability to score goals. Especially that youngster Hurta, just give him a chance at it. He's like Kraft. Everything they shoot goes in the net.
Well, Hurta has 5 goals in this tournament. And it'll be the big guns for both teams out there. Josh Arnold of Moorhead will take the face-off against Jason Siles.
And it's a big face-off.
Siles wins it. Here's a shot by Horst. Right on. The rebound. And Greg Wire smothers it. Oh, they have the chance right there.
I'll tell you, that Siles came up with a big play there, winning that draw. What a great play. He got it right back, and the Horse got some good wood on that. Watch this. He gets the first shot blocked by the defenseman, lets fly. The next one's blocked, and then it just goes off to the side. It looked like Jameson, the defenseman, actually blocked that before Gregoire, and that defenseman made a great play blocking that.
Horst will take the draw as it moves to the other side, and Cullen will take it now for Moorhead. Strategy changes. Cullen wins it this time. Jameson backhands, not outside, fires, and that goes through the crease wide. They try to hit the point. Held on there. Must not have been. McAlpine, a good effort, but not quite enough as a referee.
Well, we couldn't see it from this angle, Wally, because we got the boards in our way, but that couldn't have been out by more than 2 or 3 inches. That had to be awful close, and fortunately for Moorhead, the referee was right on the line and could see it and made the call, and the puck comes out of the zone. Inches again. Inches on the 4th goal for Moorhead, and inches on that would have been a fabulous opportunity for South St. Paul. 3 guys down deep. Only 12 seconds to go.
They fire it across to the far side. A long shot there. Goes up into the stands. And we'll spot a face-off with 7 seconds left now, about 15 feet inside the Moorhead blue line.
Another big win on the draw by South St. Paul right there. That was a key win. And now they have to win this one. If they don't win this one, the game's over because all Moorhead has to do is flip it out the center. And so you should expect everybody up on the line except one guy way wide here, and it'll be Herta. Number 12, all alone. They should actually move somebody up on each man. Don't leave any open men up front for Moorhead, and have one guy back to make the draw.
And Moorhead trying to cover everybody man for man.
Moorhead's defenseman should be up on that player right there.
Horse trying to shot, a squat, got the blue line, a backhander, goes off into the corner, the buzzer sounds. And this one comes to a dramatic conclusion as Moorhead weathers the storm on a frantic finish by South St. Paul. And Moorhead will advance to their second state tournament final in the past 2 years.
Another great victory for that team, the Spuds. And what an effort by South St. Paul. They played their hearts out, played well enough to win, but come up 1 goal short as Moorhead, led by Kraft again with 3, outduel the Packers, who were led by Herta with 3, and some great playing. You know, they had a couple of players in each team that could have been stars, and Gregoire has to be very happy right now in the nets with that 4-3 win, but must have been the net for South St. Paul. Played very well. Styles had a great game. Both defense, Moorhead and South St. Paul, played well.
It was a pleasure to watch that defensive play because that's something you don't expect to be at the height of the game between high school teams, but it really came to be a big factor in this game tonight, Lou, and it was a real treat to see that develop.
It was just a marvelously played game. The good thing about it, Wally, it got better from period to period. Third period, easily the best. They started off at a high tempo, but not very good passing in the first. The second period, we had better passing and increased hitting. The third period, we just had an outstanding period of hockey by both clubs. It's unfortunate one team has to lose, but that team, Moorhead, that lost last year, is now getting the opportunity to move to the finals against the winner of Jefferson and Duluth East. And there's a couple of leaders, Styles and Kraft, talking to one another. And boy, this Kraft has put on a show. He could just put his uniform on and go across town and help the Gophers the rest of the year.
Yeah, well, both of those players will be next year. They'll be there, and who knows, maybe even roommates. I tell you how good it is. Now, a lot of these players hanging around talking to each other. A lot of respect, mutually, between both of these clubs. Our Louisville Stick Scoreboard tells you the final story. This is continuing coverage of the 1994 Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Your do-it-yourself projects with savings from Menards. Put air power to work with Campbell Hausfeld air compressors and tools. Compressors start as low as $67. Air tools start at $9.98. When replacing doorknobs, remember Harlock. It's the best lock for your money. This passage lock is $4.99. A lever passage lock is $9.99. Make Menards your home for do-it-yourself savings.
Save big money at Menards.
It's the biggest truck sale in the heartland, but time is running out. You have 2 days left. It's your chance to drive Chevy's new S-Series Extended Cab, loaded with AM/FM cassette and much more. Not for $350 a month, but only $199 a month for 24 months. Just $199. Don't wait one more day. It all ends March 14th. Hurry to your Heartland Chevy GO dealers.
Hello?
Who's that, honey?
It's TCF. They want to know what to give people over 50.
Tell them free checking with interest. Free checks, credit card protection, maybe travel discounts, and travel insurance.
Did you get all that?
And a Harley.
They'll go for everything but the motorcycle.
Club 50 from TCF. Banking the way you want it.
Anyway you slice it at Domino's, things are really changing in the way you want to go. Anyway you slice it, thin crust, classic or deep. One call, we're on our way, satisfaction guaranteed. Something for nothing when you call Domino's.
Right now, buy a crunchy thin crust pizza or a delicious ultimate deep dish pizza at the regular price and get an order of twisty bread free. Call Domino's now.
Welcome back to the St. Paul Civic Center. Moorhead's going on to the final. They'll play the winner of Bloomington, Jefferson, and Duluth East tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. They take a narrow decision over South St. Paul here tonight. Coach Terry Cullen and hat-trick scorer Ryan Kraft have joined me. And, Coach, you're kind of shaking your head thinking you still haven't found your game in the tournament. I know you hope you didn't leave it in St. Cloud with that great game with Elk River, but you think the best is yet to come, maybe?
Well, I know the best is yet to come after tonight's performance. We're very fortunate to be alive and well here as far as in the winner's circle, but Moorhead Spuds can play a lot better than they did tonight.
Ryan, there was an article in the paper this morning stating how you and Coach got together after the Elk River game. You didn't feel like you had contributed a lot in that game, but you've sure turned it around in the state tournament. First of all, was that accurate? Did you have some down feelings after the Elk River game, and were you determined to make a good showing here in the state?
I don't know if I felt down. I felt happy because the team. We're going to the state tournament, and I'm just glad that I could help the team any way I can.
Let's take a look at your goal that was the eventual game winner, and I don't know, how did it look from where you were sitting, Terry?
Well, it looked like Ryan had a good quick shot here. I don't know if he went short side or if he went through the 5-hole. I'm not sure, but it was a good quick shot, and it caught him a little bit unexpected.
Now, Ryan, yesterday we saw you make some great plays where you had to deke the goalie. Today it was more picking your spots and getting it by him. What did you see there on that last one?
I saw the short side. He had his leg kind of bent, and there's a little hole there. I aimed for it, and I luckily hit it.
Congratulations. I look forward. Get a good scouting job in here today. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Thank you. Thanks much.
Terry Cullen and Ryan Kraft. All the goals scored by a guy named Ryan in this game. Ryan Hurta had the hat trick for South St. Paul. Ryan Burge coming up with the 4th goal for the victorious Moorhead Spuds. So they'll await the winner of our next game, and we'll be back with more from State Tournament 94 at the St. Paul Civic Center in just a moment.
These are annual and perennial weeds before Banvel. These are annual and perennial weeds after Banvel. This is Spike. These were weeds. This is Canopy. Unlike contact herbicides, just one spray of Banvel at Spike gives you all the residual control you need. Banvel. It's simple but effective.
Has 800 horns, dozens of antennas, 4,000 wheels, and lives under 3 ounce. The auto show at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Make tracks. Come see over 100,000 horses gathered together under one roof. The auto show at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Make tracks. It's here. $14 million worth of cars, trucks, and conversion vans. Auto Show 94 revs up at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Make tracks.
Do you want it for work, play, or both? Then get to your Toyota dealer and get to quality. Because our March sales event is making our truck selection and savings outstanding. With big truck option package savings and factory-to-dealer incentives. Get into a low 4Runner lease, only $319 a month. And while there's still a big selection, take advantage of 4Runner option package savings. Get into Toyota, get into quality before this special sales event ends April 5th.
Say good night, for the light of the daytime is gone. The moon may be bright while you slumber through the night. You can hear low but clear.
Introducing World Business Class from the Global Alliance of KLM and Northwest Airlines.
One finalist has been decided. The Spuds of Moorhead will be going into the championship game tomorrow night, which will start at 8 o'clock here on Channel 9. But it was a journey that was well earned. It was hard fought. It was a good close game all the way through. We're going to take a look now at our U.S. West Yellow Pages shots on goal counter to show you exactly how close it was from the final 2 periods. Not much separation there between the 2 clubs. And 29-21 overall edge for Moorhead. We also have our TCF Bank play of the game, and this was a beaut.
It really was a turnover deep in the zone and a shot from the point. And look how quick Frisch gets control of that puck, gets it up. It actually hits the goal stick of Musta and goes in the net, and that's the winning goal and the play of the game because he had to do quite a job to get that puck in the net that quickly.
A lot of players had a good game in this performance tonight, but we had to come up with 3 stars, and here is our Heartland Chevy Geo 3-star selection, Lou.
Well, first I'm going to give honorable mention to Siles because he played a great game. He could have been one of the 3 stars anyway. But Frisch getting the winning goal, 3rd star, 2nd star, Perda, when he gets 3 goals, you know, he's always dangerous out there. Played with Siles, had an outstanding game. And again, the top player in the game, Ryan Kraft, 3 goals for Moorhead, really led that team. And fortunately for Moorhead, as Coach Cullen says, Kraft was out there tonight because South St. Paul played an excellent hockey game. Kraft took that team on his back and took them to victory again to lead them to the finals tomorrow night.
Well, most people had been expecting a Jefferson-Moorhead final. Half of the story has been told. We've got the other half coming up next. Jim?
Thanks, fellas. And as you say, 4-3 the final as Moorhead moves on. They'd like to take home that top prize. Jefferson and Duluth East will have something to say about that. Final from Mariucci Arena. The Gophers win over Denver 8-5. Justin McHugh with a hat-trick. Much more details coming up on that and other sports events as part of Minnesota 9 News. Coming your way next, let's catch up on all the day's events of Minnesota 9 News.
And now, a Minnesota 9 News update.
Good evening. First on 9, 6 people dead, 100 wounded in South Africa.
It was a gun battle between government forces and right-wingers.